Hey everybody, it's bonus content time. We're all here. I'm Alex. Scott's here. Novision's here. Tony's here. It's the whole kit and caboodle. I said that phrase earlier today, and I was like, I don't know why I said that. I said it to a person, and they gave me a look of like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
You deserved it.
I mean, that's fair. So folks on Twitter, no, I promised some announcements. We joked in the Irrational Passion Slack that we have that this is the our press conference. I got some videos to play, some exciting stuff to announce. The videos are going to just be for bonus content, and then I'm going to kind of go over them again once we get into the show proper. Somebody's got the stream up.
Folks on Twitter.
The folks on Twitter, they've got the stream up. So I'm gonna play. We got a couple of things I'm pretty excited for video viewers. You guys get to see this. I'm sorry to the three of you that you don't. I have no way of projecting this to you. I guess I could send the videos to you over Discord if you wanted. But yeah, we've got
I'll pass.
Okay, fair. That's fine. First thing I want to play for you guys, we've got a very fun little promo video for some stuff that we're going to be doing at PAX West. That's Mike Burgess, video producer, put together. And with it, a couple of announcements of some things that we're going to be doing. So I'm going to pull that up, and I'm going to play that for everybody watching along. It's very exciting. It's been in the works for a couple of weeks now. One of them was kind of sprung on me, but the other I've been working with our friends over at OK Beast for. And the promo is it's very short. You're going to see it on Twitter. All of this is going to be on Twitter later tonight, so you can watch it galore. But yeah, I'm going to put that up for all of you now, and enjoy. Video just played for all of you. Big thing to kind of go over. So we're going to be doing a crossover podcast with OK Beast at PAX West. I'm very excited. We're going to be doing, it's going to be Friday night. It's going to be live on the internet. I don't know if it's going to be live on YouTube or Twitch or whatever. We're going to figure it out. 9 p.m. Pacific time. So midnight Eastern time. It's gonna be myself, Logan Wilkinson, Mike Burgess, and Scott White from Irrational Passions, and it's gonna be Alex Van Aken, Ian Purcell, and Blessing Adeoye from OK Beast. We're gonna be doing a little fun variety show, and big thanks to Mike for putting the dope beats and whatnot into that fun little promo we cut together. Like I said, it's gonna be on Twitter. It's gonna be really fun. I said to Alex when we were like picking out our Airbnb and stuff, I said, hey, if we're gonna be sharing a spot together, we should do a big dumb crossover podcast. And he was like, hell yeah, let's do it. So he was all for that. And I'm excited. I'm probably gonna touch Blessing's butt. That's my Irrational Passions guarantee from me to you. And it's to the three of you as well. I promise you I'm going to touch Blessing's butt. He might not like it, but he doesn't have a choice. And the other thing I want to play for all of you is a brand new show. Another short video. Don't worry, these are only 30 seconds, guys. Bear with me. This is the intro for our brand new show. I'll kind of let it speak for itself. It's hosted by Scott White, Professor RPG, Professor Scott, as he's known on this show. So enjoy this.
Each month, myself and other Irrational Passions members will play through a new game.
Modern to retro, obscure to popular. Games we've played before and those we haven't. We'll be hitting checkpoints as we go and discussing our experiences. Play along with us and join in the discussion. This is Video Game Book Club.
What's up?
I was the man, 7.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we were that many.
Yeah.
Or it didn't click in my head that much.
It's like a lot of irresponsible people. So that was the intro for our brand new show that's coming. It's starting next week. The Irrational Passions Video Game Book Club, which I feel like is like a misnomer. We talked about it kind of jokingly of like, should we call it a book club if we're playing games and not reading books? But I think, and I hope you guys agree, that calling something a game club just sounds terrible. Yeah, the Video Game Book Club, the first game that we are playing through together is Batman Arkham Asylum. I mentioned it a couple weeks ago on the podcast. So we recorded the first episode 2 weeks ago. It's going to go up next week. Basically, the kind of premise of it is we're doing it every month, not necessarily. We realize now because like it's going to be launching mid-August, like it might not necessarily tied to the month, just kind of tied to the month that it starts in, and it might go through a little bit into the next month. But it's 3 episodes a month. We're going to split these games into 3 checkpoints. So, for example, the Batman Arkham Asylum, the first game that we were playing, that first checkpoint that we will be discussing up until is the first boss fight with Bane. If you've played Batman Arkham Asylum, you know that. If you want to play it for the first time and play along with us, you're more than welcome to. We don't like spoil ahead of ourselves in the book club. So, but yeah, the idea, we split into 3 checkpoints. We play through everyone plays through up until that checkpoint for that episode, and then we convene and talk about it and talk about what we thought, the things we liked, the things we didn't like. And then we will do the next checkpoint and kind of go from there until we finish it, and then we'll at the very end have kind of like a critical discussion of what we thought about it, how we feel it holds up today, if it's an older game, how we feel it's relevant to its genre, book club shit. So yeah, the first game is Batman Arkham Asylum, and the first book club is headed by Scott White himself, so he is the host. That is his month. The following month will be hosted by Mike Burgess. Ideally, the way we're hoping to do it, Scott wants to. It's kind of Scott's show, so he's going to be a contributor and kind of like an introductory host for every month, and he'll be a part of it every month, and he's going to be editing that show. But the person whose month it is will be kind of like the host proper. So the theme of the first month was first in a series, because it was our first book club, so we chose Batman Arkham Asylum, and we like it a lot. Spoilers. That game's very good. But yeah, we had so much fun recording the first episode. The first book club is Scott White, myself, Quentin Hoffman, and George Cruz. And we had a great time talking about Batman. And Scott had he's like finished the first episode, so it's all edited and everything. I believe it's going to go up on Monday. So folks watching right now or watching the archive can look forward to that on Monday. But yeah, those are the 2 big announcements to a new show, and we're doing the big crossover show with OK Boost at PAX West, and we will also be. I didn't mention it was in the video for the PAX West promo, but we're going to be at the Kind of Funny interwebsite tournament panel. We are going to Irrational Passions will be represented by myself or some combination of us. And I do not remember the theater it's in. I will try and pull it up, but that's Saturday at 7 p.m. Do you remember the theater?
I was making it funny. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. Was it really funny, though? Do we want to go back? Do we want to play back the tape?
Nah, that's like spooky. That's not funny.
Okay. I think you're always funny now, Vishen.
That sounds very condescending.
It didn't mean it to. I'm like, I try and go for the proud dad sound, not the condescending sound. Let me see. The Hydra Theater, Saturday, September 1st at 7 p.m. in the Hydra Theater. I don't know if it's going to
Make
be.
a bet of how many times Hell Hydra is going to be set.
Ooh, yeah, that could be a good bet actually. I'm going to say it at least 3 times. Yeah, for some reason, Greg invited us to be a part of that. And I'm probably going to do very bad. We're talking about like strategies, like we're having strategy meetings because I want to win. And
you have to know the game first, right?
Yeah, we're not going to know the game ahead of time.
Right.
But that we're theorizing that it's probably going to involve Fire Pro Wrestling.
Okay,
because
that's very much fair.
Yeah, because Greg has been big on it all over the place. And I don't think I've ever played a Fire Pro Wrestling game in my life. So we'll see. I'm talking about, we don't know if tag-ins are going to be allowed, but all of us are going to be there. So if you're going to be at PAX West and want to see us there and watch me embarrass myself, I'm very nervous about it.
It would be some shit too that Jared doesn't want to go to it.
Yeah, right.
He's
No,
been
he
playing
was
that
so
game.
pissed. He's like, he said, like, listen, I'm about to start like setting up like coaching sessions because I don't want you all to embarrass us out there. And I'm like, I'm gonna embarrass us. But yeah, so we're gonna be Friday, August 31st at PAX West, live from our Airbnb. We're gonna be doing a crossover variety show with OK Beast. And the following evening, we're going to be at the Interwebsite tournament for Kind of Funny. And next week, Video Game Book Club starts. So those are all of our fun announcements. We got some other like smaller stuff that I'm going to kind of reiterate in the show proper once I kind of go over all this again. Like Irrational Passions podcast, this show, as well as Input, we're both on Spotify now. So if you like to listen to podcasts on Spotify, we are available there.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Just because of observation, and I'm just curious for your content because like I know you do other stuff, but like I know like Input is listed under Irrational Passions as like I guess the artist, and you're listed under and Irrational Passions listed as Alex O'Neill. Will that have your stuff as well?
That was basically an error in the sending that to Spotify.
Oh, okay.
That was
I didn't know.
I will say, so like we're both listed under Irrational Passions on iTunes. I got that figured out there, but when you choose the artist in iTunes or Google Play, it still separates them out because like George submitted Input and I submitted Irrational Passions, so it separates them for whatever reason.
That's weird.
Yeah, but if you search Irrational Passions, both shows will come up. So as long as you just do a search. We don't have. I think if we eventually do get an artist page, which will probably never happen, but if it does, it will come up. If you search Irrational Passions, Get Acquainted will come up. But yeah, there's a couple other little things. We have a new audio feed. It's not a new show necessarily, but we're going to be putting some stuff out there called Irrational Passions Presents. I'm going to go over it all in the show proper, but this is bonus content. I know that was some fun bonus stuff for the videos and whatnot, but I want to know, getting back onto normal bonus content scheduling. Scott, you weren't here last week. You were in a house full of people, but it was your birthday on Saturday.
Earlier than Saturday.
Wasn't it Saturday? Because I got the notification right after we finished recording at around 12 in the morning.
Oh yeah, no, it was Saturday.
And now you're mid-20s. You're an old man, just like Tony and I. What'd you do? Did you get in any? Did you do anything
You're
fun?
gonna die soon if you
I like my name wasn't mentioned.
Yeah, you're a very young man.
strapping young lad.
Yeah, a hot piece of ass. Strapping young lad. Did you get any shenanigans, Scott?
Other than your typical boating stuff, no.
I feel like your typical boating stuff does involve shenanigans, though. To be fair.
No. There is shenanigan boating stuff, and there's typical boating stuff.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, there's a ride out to a wreck. And a wreck is the shipwreck, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So fish like to rub up all against that wrecked boat.
Yeah.
So you fish there.
Yeah, getting real dirty on the barnacles. Did you catch a sponge living in a pineapple under the sea?
That's not how that works.
Okay. Now listen, man. You know more about the ocean than I do, so. Cool. Did you have fun at least?
Yeah. I guess we also did go wakeboarding.
Okay, that's fun.
Yeah. Those types of things are tough when you're not on the lake.
Yeah.
You have to be calm enough to go and do it, and it's never calm enough to go and do it.
Because the ocean is a wily mistress. How's your week been? Did you get anything else outside of your birthday?
No.
I saw a thing that did happen today. I saw Tony in person today. Like 3 hours ago.
Why would you do that?
He came and visited my work.
I was out and about taking care of some shit,
Mm-hmm.
and I happened to be in the same place as where Alex works. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go say hi."
Yeah, it was good to see you.
He was like, "Excuse me, I don't have a phone here anymore. I just wanted to say hi."
Excuse me.
Pardon me. Yes, I have no horse in this race, but leg in this race, leg in this horse. I don't know what the expression is.
I have no leg in my horse.
I have no leg on my horse anymore, but I do want to say hi to my friend. I think he's in the back. Could you let him know I'm here?
Yeah, that's basically what happened. The person came in and was like, "What do you want?" And I was like, Alex, I want him."
The reason I wanted to start closer to 8. We were a little later than that, 8:20ish, but I apologize for that. But I was getting my hair cut. Tony, also, you got your hair cut today.
Yep.
Looking fresh.
Thanks, man.
If only you had a fucking video camera.
Yeah, eventually, right? After a microphone, I feel like that's more important.
Sorry, I just realized that the episode number on this live stream is 389 and not 390, so we all make mistakes. I would love to see your face just every podcast, though. Looking good, though. I do want to let you know.
Thanks, man.
Haircut looks good. Did you go to that little barber place?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. They only take cash, right?
Yeah, so I like left work, and then I went to the bank like up the street from where I work, pulled out a $20 bill, went to the place, walked in, was sat immediately. She gave me one of the most precise haircuts that I've ever gotten, which I've come to expect from that place.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, I gave her a $20 bill, and she was like, "I see ya," and I was like, "I see ya."
And then you fucked right out of there.
Yeah.
Cool. Did you get any shenanigans this week, Tony?
Other than just being at work for way too long, no.
So you remember 2 weeks ago you said when we skipped bonus content, and you're like, "Well, I did this whole thing, and I couldn't remember what it was last week." And you wanted to talk about it in bonus content. I was editing the podcast and I heard it. You went on a journey to find the correct stylus for your handheld device. And I wanted to know the story.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I can tell you. So like I went on Amazon and I bought I was doing a lot of research, and I was like, what do I get? Like, what's the good one? And I landed on Wacom, which, if anyone knows what Wacom is, they do professional artist tablets and that kind of stuff. So I figured if anyone's gonna have the correct type of stylus,
I just missed out on a good joke. I'm sorry.
Now you got to tell us what it was.
Well, he said Wacom, and then my mind immediately went to Akon, and I was trying to think of his songs, and I couldn't think of it at first. And I was like, "Oh wait, Lonely," but the moment's passed. I said, "Oh, that artist said Lonely."
Or Smack That.
That too.
You've got plenty of choices. Acon, man.
But the joke has passed. So
It's okay.
It's all right.
Spank the monkey. You got your Acon stylus tablet.
So, well, kind of. Well, I didn't buy a tablet.
I know.
So I went on the website and I was looking at all the options they had, and they had one option that says that it works with all Android phones. So I bought that one, figuring like that one's got the most compatibility. It's probably set up in a way that it doesn't require any software or anything in order to work. So I went with that, and it came in the mail. And we went for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Turned it on. It turns on and it makes its own it conducts an electromagnetic field that the phone makes or whatever. And it's a fine point, so I figured good control, and it didn't work at all. To be fair, then I went and looked on the website, and it was saying that it supported all phones up to the S9 Plus, except or up to the S8. Not the new phones. So I figured it was probably just that they'd changed something between the S8 and the S9 that made it so now it doesn't work. And okay, so fine. I was meant to return that to Amazon. It's still sitting on a table somewhere in my house in a box. And so then I went the next day and I was like, I gotta find the right one. And so I did some more research, and I found out that a different, cheaper one by Wacom is actually what I want. So I okay, I want to get this one, but I don't want to wait for Amazon again. So I was leaving work, and there's a Best Buy pretty close to where to where I live. So I was like, I'll just go there. So I went to Best Buy and had them price match it. Which was really difficult because the one on Amazon is only the blue one, but there's a black one too, and I don't care about the color. But apparently they do, even though it's the exact same thing. If the color is different, then they won't honor the price change.
It's a different SKU, I think.
Yeah, it's from $20 down to $12. And I was like, this is worth $8 of me waiting for Amazon. So I was like, fuck you guys, I'm just gonna wait. I don't care. You won't match me because the color is different. Fine, I'll just wait.
You won't get me, big business.
That's right. So
goes home, buys from Amazon.
Then the nice lady at Best Buy was like, if you happen to find it on another website, then we can, we'll price match certain other websites. So I went and I found it on B&H Photo, and they price matched that. So I got it at the $12 price instead of the much higher $20 price.
Yeah,
and that was nice. So yeah, anyway, took it out, and it's one of those carbon fiber mesh on top of a conductive rubber dome stylus things, but it's a pretty fine pointed one, and it works really well. It's it never loses connection like the other one was doing. The $50 one that I bought, which the first one I bought was $50 instead of $12. It would lose connection to the phone, and so I'm using it to play Puzzle and Dragons, which is a game where you pick up little gems and drag them around to rearrange stuff, kind of like a Bejeweled board, where you can move an orb for 12 seconds. And so it would, I pick it up and move it a couple things, and then every once in a while it would just randomly disconnect from the screen, and it would end your turn, and most of the time that kills you. So it just wasn't usable. But anyway, this next one, it doesn't lose connection, and it works basically exactly like it should. I've heard that it's not as durable because it's a rubber and carbon fiber thing instead of an actual point. But I think that's okay because I paid $12 instead of $50, and I can buy a new tip for $3. So I don't know why those cheap people online were like, "This is terrible, unusable. You have to buy a new tip every once in a while."
Does it feel right in your hand?
Yeah, it feels exactly like a pen.
Good.
It's it's the same width as a normal pen. The only problem with it though, same girth. The only problem with it, or the revision 1 of the thing came with a cap, and the revision 2, which is the most recent one that I got, does not. So it, the tip is just always out there, just free balling. So I don't want. I feel like it's gonna make it wear out faster in my pocket. But otherwise, it's really good, and I feel like I'm better at Puzzle and Dragons now, so that's nice.
Hell yeah, dude!
I solved that problem by getting a bigger phone.
I mean, I have the biggest phone.
It's true. His phone is big. I saw it today when I saw Tony in person.
Yeah.
I touched him.
Is my phone?
I would say it's comparable.
I can't remember what else I did that day, but I did some other shit.
He fucked.
Oh, right. I went and got the windows tinted on my car.
Yeah, that's right. I think you mentioned that this week.
Yeah, I drove all the way up to up in Towson and did it. And yeah, that's worked out. It looks really good. It was expensive, but worth it, I think.
Beautiful.
So yeah, that was last week. This week I really just worked a lot. Not much to tell, really.
Okay. I was curious about your odyssey to find the right styli. What about you, Nabashin? Did you get any shenanigans this week?
No, just work. Work. That's all I do.
Work. That's a song, I think.
Yeah, it is. But no, I worked. I worked constantly. Didn't really do much of anything else. Today's my best friend Tony's birthday.
Happy birthday, Tony.
Yeah, I probably should have went out with him, but
Thanks, man.
Shut up, Tony.
So,
it's my birthday.
But it was kind of I wasn't even thinking about it really because I've just been working constantly because I usually remember his birthday's on the 17th because the 17 is my favorite number. I know his birthday's in August because nothing else is in August. So yeah, so that was a shitty thing. But I told him sorry and I said happy birthday and he said thanks, man. So we'll probably hang out this weekend.
You'll make him watch all the X-Men movies. I'm sure it'll make it up to him.
He wants to watch the Spider-Man movie, so
okay.
And that coincidentally is what they're doing next. So it's oh well, I guess we'll just do it around then. So
it worked out. Does he watch the Kind of Funny in Review series?
No, when we did the MCU, it was just a thing I did afterwards because I wanted to really watch the review. Plus I wanted to rewatch all the movies again and get ready for Infinity War. So we would watch I think on Monday or Tuesday, and then I will watch the days after it comes on YouTube. So
I feel like he would. Generally, anyone could jump into those in review shows and have a good time.
Sure, but he's not much of an internet person. So
time to make him one. Time to ruin him. Get him on Twitter, man.
It's been a month since I've been gone now.
Yeah, how's it feel?
It's a lot of things like I said, I miss my friends desperately. Like I said this recently.
Yeah. Logan says he loves you very, very much. Because he saw that Instagram story thing that you did. He's very appreciative.
Yeah. But yeah, because it's weird to I feel so distant from them now, even though I text them regularly. I text Cam once a week. It's just hey, money my hero, and that's all I ever do with them.
Mm-hmm.
I text Nicole and Kaylee every once in a while. I should get Trevor's number because I know he's in the chat. And I was yeah, I should text Trevor.
Yeah, he's probably watch help. He might.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Trevor in a good couple of months. So
yeah. Text me every week too now.
Yeah. It's just the separation has been making it extremely lonely now, more than than I've ever been in a while. But it's also it's a give and take type of thing. Because I've been so focused on my work now because I don't have Twitter anymore. So it's I've been more focused on my work and that's been improving with there. But at the same time, I've been working so much lately that I haven't really been I guess having fun. So.
Yes, all work and no play makes Nabashin a dull boy.
And when I'm off, I'm I don't fucking do anything. I just stay home. Like I said, I even hang out with Tony in the longest time. So I could have went to Otacon and I wanted to, but I was no, I'm tired, so I'll just have to stay home.
I'm in a similar boat, so I understand. I don't do anything outside of work at this point. Obviously I have other things that I have more work that I do via IP and working with all them, but that's also, that is working in a lot of ways. It's writing, it's editing, it's organizing and sending emails and blah blah blah, and it's exhausting as well, It's not out there socializing, but I'm a generally indoors person. So I don't think it gets me down by any means. But I would say a thing that's helped me, and the unsolicited advice in our Real Talk corner in bonus content here, is the like that every Monday night dinner thing. You know, having like a set thing every week. And I know you had that a little bit with the Marvel movies with Tony, so maybe getting back into that with Spider-Man will help and make you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's something I need. Like I do see Katie every once in a while, so like that's been helping because we've been playing Overcooked too, and like she's addicted to that. So like it's like anytime I have free time, she just wants me to come over so we can just play that together, and that's been fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all it's been with me. Did I mention about the fact that I've been watching a lot more movies than I've been watching?
You did. We talked about that last week.
Okay. Because like
Movie Pass.
Yeah, Movie Pass is done with me completely in like 3 days as far as like my account with them. So like,
are they like falling apart?
Oh, they're completely falling apart. Like they changed their plan like almost like every 2 weeks. It seems like now. Like he keep doubling back and stuff like that. It's not unlimited movies anymore. So like, I went to another plan. I just joined that like yesterday. I think it's called Cinema or something like that. Cinema with an S. But like, they seem okay. So, I won't get my card until like later on. So like, I won't know like the complete benefits of it yet. Well, I know the benefits of it is I signed up for a plan, but like, I pretty much pay like $10 a month for like any type of movie I want to see, like even like 3D, which I'll never use, but like IMAX I could go to. So like, yeah. That's a benefit I never got with Movie Pass.
All right, AMC's got the A-list thing now. Are you familiar with this?
Yeah, I am. And I was considering that,
Thinking
but like,
about it.
yeah, but like when I usually go to the movies with Tony, and like Tony doesn't never go to AMC because like that's a little bit too far from him. So we usually go to the Cinemark. So that's like the next best thing for us.
It's weird for me because like I'm basically, and I guess you get it too. I'm committing to going and seeing movies by myself more often, which I'm not opposed to. Like I enjoy that as an experience. I you know, I'll talk about it in a moment, but I went this week. But yeah, just thinking like, so for folks unfamiliar, AMC has their A-list things, and it's $20 a month, but you can see any 3 movies a week, IMAX, 3D, anything, doesn't matter. I feel like I would only do 1 movie a week, but still, you know, I'd be saving money doing that.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. It depends. Like, there's some stuff coming out that I want to see, but like, I feel like there's not a lot that I would want to see. But we'll see. I'll think about it. A thing I did do this week, I went and saw Teen Titans Go to the Movies. Which we already talked about in Option. Very good. Highly recommended.
Indeed.
I know that's surprising. I know that might seem like sacrilege to you, Scott, but that movie is fucking crazy. I cannot believe that movie got made. It's buck wild. It's just so weird, and the amount of things that references to the Marvel movies that they make in that movie, and also how much they just shit on DC movies in that movie is phenomenal.
Well, like, listen, if it's actually good,
it's actually good.
Then I got no problems watching it.
Bruce, Clark,
if it's something I'll enjoy, of course.
Oh wait, you're surprised I know your names? Oh, don't worry about it. Everybody knows your name.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Everybody knows who you guys are. They're like, fuck it. They make fun of the Martha scene in a way that is phenomenal. But yeah, it is actually good, Scott. I agree with Roger Picorni. Maybe 1 or 2 many poop jokes. I liked the series of poop jokes that they did make, but maybe 1 or 2 too many. But generally, it's really funny. Will Arnett, man, so good.
Yeah, the initial problem I had with Teen Titans Go is I watched like the first 3 episodes, and they were really shitty.
Yeah,
they were really shitty.
Because Namish and I were texting about it earlier this week. My kind of feeling was it had enough room to breathe, because it is obviously not 5 minutes. that I feel like it kind of proved it had more room to kind of make that format funny versus like Teen Titans Go, that I think is just like out of context, trying to be funny. But again, I've only ever seen one episode of Teen Titans Go, and I was like, this is whatever.
At this point, I've seen like 15.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Here and there, I'll come across one, and then there's like 2 apparently that a lot of people like that don't like the show.
Yeah, there's man.
One of them's not good. One of them's not good.
Yeah. But yeah, it's worth seeing. It's worth seeking out, Scott. I'd be curious of your opinion on it as well. I think that's it for bonus content. But well, let's get into the show proper. You guys ready to start recording?
Hell no.
Hell no. Time to get ready, Tony. Ooh.
I'm ready.
Okay. Scott, no, I'm sure you guys ready.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I'm ready. Emotionally. I did a test sound check recording. I feel like okay, it's fine. All right. Scott, you good?
I'm good.
Okay. On 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jay Equus Film. Hello! Jay Equus Films in the chat. I'm about to go over the announcements again. I'm sorry you missed them. You can also rewind on YouTube. They don't make it so you can't rewind or anything, so you can go back and watch the videos and whatnot. Let's as the Black Eyed Peas would say, let's get this party started. Totally not the censored version of those lyrics at all.
What's the censored version?
Well, let's get it started, I guess.
I'm stupid.
Yeah.
I forgot that song.
Yeah,
you hear so much of the censored version, you don't even think about it
exactly.
anymore.
Like, as they wanted you to forget that song.
Yeah,
Ocean,
pretty much.
That is something that basically aged poorly immediately. It was like they put the song out, and then the next day, it's like, yikes, y'all. Maybe we fucked up on this one. All right. It is Friday, August 17th, 2018, and you are listening to the Irrational Passions podcast. I am Alex O'Neill, your host for this podcasting journey we are about to embark on. And joining me this week, as always, we have Scott Guth here.
Hello.
Tony Horvath.
Hey.
And Brian Nobishin Jackson.
Whoa!
Great show lined up for everyone here this week. All 4 of us back together. It was Scott's birthday over the weekend, so he's recharged, I assume. And we've got a ton of announcements. If you watched the show live, we record live on YouTube every Friday night at around typically 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. We started a little later this time because I was getting my hair cut. But if you watched the live show, we had some video announcements to go over. Right now, those videos should be posting on Twitter, so if you are listening to the audio podcast on Tuesday or Wednesday, then they should be up. You can go seek out these videos, but I do want to go over a couple of announcements as we kick this show off with some housekeeping, some very exciting things going on in the world of Irrational Passions. I'm going to try and make this quick because I know housekeeping last episode was very long, and I apologize for that. So let's go through these very quickly, get right into it. Some very exciting things coming from Irrational Passions. First of all, I want to talk about our brand new show. It's called the Video Game Book Club, or the Irrational Passions Video Game Book Club, or the Game Club, but no one's going to call it that. It is a new special series. It is not like a limited run series. It is a show that we will foreseeably be doing for the future, where myself, sometimes, not all the time, but myself and some of the writing teams, hosted by Scott White, Professor RPG himself, will be sitting down every month and playing a video game all the way through from beginning to end, and basically breaking it into 3 parts and playing each part and recording an episode after each part, like a book club. So we'll be playing different games each month, hosted by different people. So this first month, we were playing Batman Arkham Asylum. We played through the first third of it. and we recorded the first episode, and that should be out by the time you hear this in audio form. If not Monday, it should be out Monday. I'm very excited about it. It's a brand new show. I'm very excited to see how it goes and what we get into. It is on YouTube, so it's going to be available youtube.com/IrrationalPassions. A lot of B-roll and stuff is going to be in it, so I would recommend watching it. But we are looking to put it up on podcast services in the near future as well. So I'm excited about it. It's that first episode where we got to talk about the kind of opening section of Batman Arkham Asylum. We played up through the first boss fight with Bane. Was a lot of fun. And I'm excited to play more of that game and talk about it with that group of folks. Other big announcement is what we're doing at PAX West. I've been talking about it over the last couple of episodes of IP, and we finally kind of locked in and solidified our plans. So myself, Logan Wilkinson, Scott White, and Mike Burgess of IrrationalPassions.com, we're going to be at PAX West, and we're going to be doing a big crossover podcast with the fine folks over at OK Beast. So okbeast.com and all of their wonderful shows, the OK Beast podcast, yada yada. Leaderboard, if you have not checked that out, new show from OK Beast that is all about fighting, from what I understand. But yeah, so it's going to be me and Blessing and Ian and Alex Van Aken from OK Beast, as well as us. We're going to be doing it live. 9 p.m. Pacific time on Friday, August 31st. So you'll be able to watch that online live as it's going on. If not, listen to it or watch it archived. It's going to be a lot of fun. We starting the planning of segments and things that we're going to do on that show, but it's going to be a lot of what is OK Peace and what is IP and what kind of things do we do and how do we do them differently and how do we view games differently and our approach to things differently. I love the OK Beast guys. Honestly, they inspire me a whole bunch. So I'm excited to kind of sit down and do that with them. So if you're going to be at PAX West, you'll be able to see and meet all of us. And we're going to be doing that show live, so everyone will be able to watch it. And also, Irrational Passions will be represented in the Kind of Funny Interwebsite Tournament Saturday, 7 p.m. Pacific Time, September 1st, at PAX West in the Hydra Theater. It's going to be dumb. We're going to be doing dumb stuff, and I'm going to embarrass myself in front of a lot of people, I think. I think right now that's the plan. So if you'll be at PAX West, that's something you can actually go to and see. And a couple other bits of housekeeping, announcement type stuff. This show, Rational Passions Podcast, as well as Input, are now available on Spotify. If you like to listen to podcasts on Spotify, you can go consume those two shows on Spotify. Input just changed their format. They're doing something totally different with Input that I'm very excited about. They are basically kind of narrowing down and doing shorter episodes, possibly more than one episode a week on specific news stories. So they started that format off this Monday by following up on the Philip IGN plagiarism situation that just apparently seems to get more buck wild with each piece of information that comes out about it. And they also did a story today, or an episode today, on Friday, the day we're recording this, about the Riot's sexual harassment situation at Riot Games. So they'll be doing more shows, possibly shorter shows, or predominantly shorter shows with maybe only 2 or 3 of the hosts. They had Mike Burgess on pretty recently for the first time. So I'm really excited for what they're doing with that show, and it's really cool. We don't do news on IrrationalPassions.com, so this is kind of like they're becoming our news posts and news stories and news coverage. So if you like Input, it's getting better. It's getting cooler, I think. And if you like Super Smash Brothers, Podcast Ultimate, our limited run Smash Brothers podcast, episode 2 is going to be out next Wednesday. The day after this goes up, hopefully, and just 5 days from today if you're watching live. It's all about the Super Smash Brothers, the recent direct they did about it, which was liquid hype, as I like to call it. So just go listen to that as well. There were some other bits of housekeeping, but those are all the new announcements of new stuff that we're doing. we've got even more stuff coming too. Not like new shows. I think this is all like the secret projects we've been doing for the most part. There's a couple other things that are pretty far out that we're working on now, but yeah, we're gonna keep doing all the other things we're doing. Still doing video reviews, still doing written reviews and written opinion pieces, and new and exciting things. Oh, one other thing. There was actually another thing. We just launched a new kind of a type of feature that we're doing on the site. It's called Irrational Passions Presents. It's a new audio feed. It's going to be up on iTunes and Google and all that soon, but for now it's just up on the website. It's going to be article reads and conversations about those articles. It started off with Quentin Hoffman. He read his article, his Place and Purpose column, about desert golfing, and then he had a conversation with George Cruz about it, just talking back and forth about that game, how he came to find it, and how it made him feel, and kind of the inspiration for Place and Purpose and that piece. We've already got another one coming soon, so that's going to be like smaller audio features, like article reads, maybe interviews that don't necessarily fit into input or get acquainted, and other things. So yeah, that's up on the site now. You can go listen to it. So that's it. Tons of stuff. We're honestly doing too many things, I think, probably. But we're having fun. We're doing cool things as well coming soon. But yeah, big thing. If you're gonna be at PAX West, if you're gonna be in Seattle in a couple of weeks, you let us know. Come say hi. If you don't hug me, you're dead to me. That's a guarantee. That's it. Let's get into the show proper though. Enough housekeeping. As Tony always tells me, I want to talk about video games.
I don't think I say that.
I feel like you just text me every now and again. You're like, I'm sick of your housekeeping.
That's never happened.
I don't trust your housekeeper anymore. Let's talk about video games. Scott, you weren't here last week. Have you been playing any video games?
Oh, I got one that you've been waiting for.
Oh yeah, tell me.
Into the Breach?
Yeah.
No. Oh my God, I was joking.
Yay!
That game is really good.
That game is really good from what I understand.
It's good. Like, do you understand how it plays?
It's like it's grid based. They're grids.
Okay, so the answer is no.
Okay. It's a strategy game.
Let's get the first things first out of the way.
Yeah.
It's your boyfriend.
Directionals matter.
Okay.
But they matter in the best way.
Okay. I like to hear that. I know you like directions and them mattering, so. Take me through it.
So here's how it's. The best way to explain this very shortly is this is XCOM on Iron Man mode without the RNG.
Okay. I like that.
Mm-hmm. With the plot point of essentially FTL.
Okay. So are you
quick,
like
really simple? You go right along through, and then you hit the final mission, and you're done.
Because it's like one of those things where you can kind of end it. You don't have to keep going. You can choose when to end it, right? I might be misremembering that, but
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You can go after you complete 2 islands. There's 5 in total, including the final one.
Mm-hmm.
After you complete 2 islands, you can go ahead and you can do the final mission. The final mission scales with how many islands you've beaten.
Yeah, which is cool. I like that. Have you beaten Into the Breach yet?
Twice.
Okay, nice.
So, I got really lucky the first run through, but we'll talk about that run in a bit because I want to break down how the game works.
Sure.
And the best way to do this is, you have your basic tactics games, you have turns to move, your characters have a set order they go in. I'm assuming there is a speed stat.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't exactly figured that one out because it's always the same guy going first every time.
Okay.
I think it's the order of which they get picked in your lineup when you start the game.
Okay.
So there's that. You place your guys down on a map, just like you normally do in a tactics game.
Okay.
And then from there, you just start going. You have every turn consists of an action and a move, by default, and there's some augments that you can get there.
Mm-hmm.
Each of your characters is a giant mech.
Nice.
You are fighting giant insects.
Is it like Gundam mech, or is it like more like
No.
Western?
It's more Western because there's
Okay.
one like humanoid robot, and the another's a gigantic artillery cannon.
All right.
The size of a building artillery cannon.
All right. That sounds cool though.
But yeah, every mission you have, you get an objective, oftentimes two.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, one will be is don't let a specific building take damage, because generally, if it takes damage, it's going down and it counts as dead.
Okay. That's cool. I didn't know about that.
If you for those specific ones, they're power plants, and you get an extra power grid,
Okay.
which is essentially your. I don't know how to compare that to the XCOM, but essentially you have 8 power points. The number is probably not correct. And if that falls to 0, if you let enough buildings get damaged, you lose.
Yeah. That makes sense. Gotta have something to protect.
And if you overcharge on power grid, you get an extra bonus defense that if you do allow the turn to be taken for damage to happen to buildings, they have a chance of avoiding the damage.
Cool.
And that caps out at like 45%.
How big are the boards, like the grids, for my reference?
8 by 8.
8 by 8. Okay, so they're pretty small.
All right. They're pretty small. Well, here's the thing. Most missions are like 5-6 turns.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's very quick mission after mission. They get really absurd immediately.
How long would you say one of your full successful runs was?
Let me go ahead and run through the one mission first. So
Sure.
I would have that power objective, and then I would have another objective that says block 3 enemies from spawning.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, so it's I cannot tank hits the way I want to,
Mm-hmm.
because I cannot take hits the way I want to, because if I do, there's a chance that I won't get that bonus for blocking the minions, because if you block something, it comes up from the ground, which is how they spawn. You take whatever's over top of them takes damage.
Oh, okay.
And when you're being realistic, if you try and it'll take you 2 turns or two of your units, which you only have 3,
Mm-hmm.
to get one of the enemy insects over a spawn point. Realistically, so
Yeah.
if you really want to get that mission done, you're taking a couple hits blocking yourself.
That's cool. Do you get like bonuses for doing that extra objective?
Yes, we'll
Cool.
get into that. All of the objectives you
Cool.
get bonuses for.
Awesome.
So there's how that plays out. So you start taking your turn. Generally, you start with 3 moves, and you get to upgrade your mechs later.
Mm-hmm.
And as you first turn that pops up, enemies take their move turn first, and they what is it? What is it? They basically tell you where they're going to attack the start of their next turn. So they don't move and attack in the same turn. They move, they set up, and then you have to deal with what just happened.
Nice.
So if I get basically I want to call it a spider, I get I call them floaters, and I get I'll just call this one a beetle. The beetle's has a ranged attack. The spider is going to go ahead and block one of my mechs down, so he can only attack. Or somebody else has to get him off my mech by attacking him and pushing him for him to move again. And then that third guy that's kind of just sitting there, he basically is that is what he does. He sits there and he gives them every other enemy on the map buffs.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just go ahead and say this is the worst one, which is the extra health buff. So
Yikes.
everybody gets an extra HP point.
Okay.
For your reference, most of your mechs start out doing 1 damage.
Yikes. Okay. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
All of the enemies get extra health?
All the enemies get an extra health point.
Fuck. Insects out of my nightmares. It's like Blue Gender all over again.
Jeez.
I know, it's a deep cut.
About how long is a run for you, Scott?
How long is a run? The first run for me took 4 hours.
Jesus.
Yeah, but like here's the thing: it's not like an FTL match, or it's not like a Binding of Isaac run where this is an active time thing.
Right.
You every match you get to reset your turn once, and it's you are thinking very hard. Okay, how do I not fuck this up? How do I very much so take the right move so that next turn I'm not dead?
A thinking man's game. Scott's playing chess with mechs over here. I like it.
So, yeah. But that is kind of the thing. It's you get one do-over a mission.
Okay.
If you take an action at the wrong time, that's locked in unless you want to use your one reset per mission.
Okay. Yeah, I bet there's a lot of thinking before you use that too. Of like, do I really want to do this?
It's like, do I take this hit because I can't figure out how to stop it,
Mm-hmm.
or do I save it just in case there's a worse one?
That's cool though. I like that.
Yeah. So it's because generally when that happens is I make my move and I do things out of order.
Okay.
Because just about every attack you do has an extra effect on it.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the artillery cannon, he cannot shoot right in front of him, but he can shoot in a line all around. He does 1 damage to the target he hits. So like it's basic. Think of like how how like a rook moves in chess.
Yeah.
That's basically his attack range, except for right in front of him.
Okay. That's cool.
So he hits the guy who's in front of him, and every square that's next to it, if there's anything there, it gets pushed back.
Nice.
So it gets moved.
Yeah. What if it's on the edge? Does it just not get moved?
If it's on the edge, it doesn't get moved. However, if it's on the edge of water, it will get pushed into the water and die.
Nice.
If it's next to something, then it will get pushed into that, and both things will take damage.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That is, yeah, that's really
And
smart.
that's why I said directionals are back.
Yeah.
Because the direction in which you shoot things matters on where you push them, because just about every weapon in the game has a push effect or an additive modifier effect on top of it.
Okay. Are there any mechs with swords?
Yes.
Okay.
Although the sword is a one-time use.
Oh, okay. As long as they're
Well,
there.
it's a one-time use type weapon that you can upgrade to multiple uses.
Okay, cool. 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 Take me through this first run.
So, are you in yet?
I'm like so in. This all sounds actually really great.
It is really good.
Because I've heard like little bits and details here and there, but this all sounds fucking good. Oh god.
So there's all that to think of, and then at the end of every island, there you have 3 different types of points. You have 3 different types of rewards.
Okay.
At the very least, 3 different main types. They are reputation, which is basically the currency. There is the power, which I told you about before.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is reactor cores, which is your upgrade points.
Okay.
So Guys, you get in, get to upgrade your guys. You get to buy stuff like extra weapons for your mechs, because each mech has 2 weapon slots, and all that jazz.
Good. Cool. I want to take me through the first run.
Back to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that all happens. So I have to basically, the first thing I'm looking at is there's your first go around. You're going to be playing with one of your, we'll call them the Pacific Rim mechs.
Mm-hmm.
Those do 2 damage right off the bat, and they kill any of the floaters.
Nice.
So the first thing you're looking for is, how do I get that guy next to the floater?
Mm-hmm.
Because that makes the rest of the turn easy.
Of course.
You go ahead and you do that, because generally you place them so they'll be there. So you take him out with that mech. You then go ahead and you take something called your brute, which is basically your stereotypical tank.
Okay. So I'm thinking like a lot of health type shit.
You take him and you shoot the spider away from your artillery cannon.
All right.
Right. Hopefully this is done in some sort of manner where you smack that guy against the wall, because this guy's only going to have 2 HP and he dies too.
I'm looking at pictures now while you're talking about this, so I have a better visual. I like the art style. It's cute.
Oh, yeah. Giant insects.
Yeah, except for the giant horrifying bugs.
Okay, and then, of course, your last move is going to get rid of that range guy who was attacking a building, which can easily be done with the artillery guy, because he can push them in any which way you want him to go. And he doesn't have to be perfectly lined up to do so.
Cool. I like, so how many, real quick, just how many bonus objectives are there typically? Is there only one, or are there more?
Per mission, generally you go for the ones that have 2.
Okay.
And oftentimes you can have 3 different bonuses. Generally it'll be 2 reputation points, then either 1 reactor core or 1 power grid.
Cool. How far did you get in that first run?
The first run, I died at the first mission.
Okay.
The second run, I died at the second mission.
Okay.
The third run, you can see how this kind of goes until I hit the 4th run, which is at the point where I finally got my bearings down on the game.
Okay. But like, I feel like that's fair.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Because I feel like that's comparable to FTL.
Yeah. So however, that 4th run went absolutely insane, because the first thing I got was something called stabilizers. You know that damage problem that I was talking about when you stand on an enemy spawn point?
Yeah.
You don't get it with stabilizers. You pay an upgrade point to go ahead and say, I don't want that kind of debuff on me ever.
Yeah. That seems like OP. Very handy.
So, yeah. And then the other thing I get is a grappling hook, which now I can hook myself to buildings, and I can hook enemies to me, I can hook myself to buildings, and I can hook my other allies to me.
Yeah. Man. I'm watching GIFs of this game. Very good. By hook allies to you, do you mean like you can grab an ally and pull it to you?
Grab your allies. Yeah, you can grab your allies towards you.
Cool.
And they'll be right next to you.
That's
Conversely, my favorite way to use this thing is to get over a puddle of water and drag enemies into the water.
Nice. Are there some mechs that don't die in water?
Only elites.
Okay.
But anything that's in water cannot attack.
Okay. Fair trade-off. Oh man, and they're like, it looks like there are like dams that you can break to make more water show up.
Yes.
Yes. I feel like I keep losing.
Yeah,
you,
that's
Scott.
one of the missions. There's a train that we're yeah, the dam you want to break for a mission, the train you want to protect for the mission, and there's a whole bunch.
Okay.
Like for once, you get a terraformer that annihilates everything in a 2x3 block in front of it. That goes 4 directions.
Okay.
You just have to make sure that one of your guys is not in the way when you do it.
Cool.
Which not hard.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah. That sounds fun to watch too. Cool. Is there anything else you want to get, like any more nitty-gritty details? I feel
It'll
like
be
I've
difficult. I gave you a decent picture, but it's a tactics game, so it gets pretty difficult to just keep going on about it.
Yeah, I've got a good picture.
Not without coming up with ludicrous scenarios that without pictures and visuals nobody's gonna understand.
Yeah, no, you've done a good job describing it too, because like I didn't know a lot of the kind of more nitty-gritty stuff. Man, I'll ask you the age-old question, Scott. Would you play this game on Switch?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah, keep the dream alive.
I would not wait for it to go onto Switch.
Yeah, it seems really good. I'm glad that we blindly told you to buy that game. Because it seems like you dig it. That's cool.
I know. It is good.
Cool. So you've beaten it twice. Are you still playing it? It's still worth going back for more?
Okay, so here's the reason why you play again. The
Okay.
game itself, once you start going, because once you know how to work an RNG system with all the spawns and all that kind of stuff, when you're pretty good at tactics games, it's not too difficult to beat. However, as you beat it, you gain more mech teams. So that original mech team of the artillery cannon, the giant mech suit, and the tank completely changes.
Okay.
And my current goal is to do it with the smoke bomb plane. I think it's the science ship, which is a whole lot of crazy shit. And then there's like another support class ship as well, and that one's something to get used to.
Okay.
Because now the game plays out completely differently from what I just described, and I have to teach you a whole new set of things.
That's cool though. I like that you can still have that after you've beaten it. Is it kind of? Would you compare it kind of like to unlocking the other ships in FTL?
Yes and no.
Okay.
In FTL, you can kind of customize your ships to get them to do things the way you want to, because you can pick up any weapon you want on your ships.
Yeah, I mean, by the end of that run in FTL, I feel like if you have like a set kind of configuration,
you can put anything you want on the mechs. The weapons and stuff are almost locked to your mech, the mech itself. You have to pay an extra power to use it.
Okay.
Which generally is just not feasible. So in most cases, you are stuck using only the weapons that each mech has.
Cool. I like that though. I like that each has their own kind of characteristic. Cool. This game sounds fucking so good.
Dude, it's great.
I had forgotten about it because people were talking about it like in January.
Yeah.
Shit. Now it's back on my radar.
It's hearing Scott like being so enthusiastic about it. That's like, I know he likes games and like but he's rarely this enthusiastic about the game.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me like want to try it out myself.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Look forward to.
I could say just about everybody here could enjoy this game.
Yeah.
Not on the level that I enjoy it, but
yeah. But that makes me happy though, because I love it when a game is like a fucking Scott ass game. So cool. Is there anything else you've been playing?
Tony here.
I'm here. Hello.
We can talk about Nexus Blitz.
Yeah, we could.
Nexus Blitz.
Sure. I mean, I'll talk about it.
So
The only other thing you've been playing?
The only other thing that's noteworthy.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, we can start with me, I guess. Then. 'Cause
Yeah, Tony,
it's a
hit me
new
with it.
game mode in League of Legends.
Oh fuck.
So it came out like yesterday.
Oh wow.
Like every once in a while, they'll just like pop a thing into there, and like you hit the play button to like open a lobby, and it's just like, here's a new game mode. Most of the time, it's like all random ultra rapid fire mode or some shit. But this time, it's something called Nexus Blitz, and it's in alpha. Like it's so alpha that when I load into it, I don't have all the textures for it. So like the walls around the arena are just like giant they're just giant bubble walls.
Bubble butts.
Like untextured, just like one like ground texture stretched out over the top of over the entire wall. But yeah, so basically what they did is they took League and condensed it into 20 minutes.
All right.
And so like the map is smaller. There was 2 lanes, and you have 3 laners, and then 2 people in the jungle. And you share gold, so you have 2 junglers and they share gold. You share gold if you're in the lane, and then it basically just promotes people fighting a lot. And they're like random ass events that happen while you're playing. Like every once in a while, it'll just be like an event is starting in 30 seconds, and like one of them will be a massive wall of fire is closing around the arena. Better kill everyone else in there. So you're literally just playing Fortnite.
Yeah, I was about to say this sounds very familiar.
Yeah, it is. And then another one's like another one's like push a. Well, it's more Team Fortress 2. It's like push a cart. And so you stand next to a cart to push it. And there's a couple other things like that. And like when it gets to close to 20 minutes, your Nexus, which is like the building you kill to win the game, it just grows legs and starts walking towards the other team on both sides.
That's
like,
actually fucking cool.
Probably do this now.
Yeah. That's so dumb. That's great.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's a lot of fun.
That's really cool.
So yeah, Scott and I were like so the reason why, like last night, the new Aurelian Soul skin came out.
Oh yeah, of course, duh.
That's my champion.
Is that the dragon kid?
Like, yeah, the dragon with the stars. Mm-hmm. They came out with Mecha Aurelian Soul. So he's basically a Gundam that turns from a dragon into a spaceship. And the stars that fly around him are actually just little miniature like starships. So I got that, and I was like, I want to play a game with the new skin. So I was like, I'm gonna play a game of League. I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter World, so it was the first time I'd logged into League in a while.
Yeah.
So I logged in, and we played a game, and then I was like, you want to try this new mode? And like, I don't know what it is. It was really fun. It's just a lot of fun. Like, the entire map is different, and it's really fast paced, so it's just a good time.
Yeah.
So we had a really good time playing like 4 games of that last night. So yeah, that's what that whole thing is, and it's really neat to see like something new in League other than just like play on Summoner's Rift. That wasn't like I don't remember what that mode was, like capture and hold.
Yeah, the domination mode or whatever.
Yeah.
Dominion.
That wasn't very good. I think it was Dominion. But yeah, this one seems fun. I don't know how long it will stay fun.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fun.
It's a cool like gimmick, I'll say.
Yeah.
Growing legs and walking around is fun.
Yeah. It's just like this needs to end now.
Yeah. It's like you guys aren't going fast enough, so we're gonna fucking deal with this for you. That is fun. Cool. What else have you been playing, Tony?
Other than that, a lot of Monster Hunter World.
Still good?
Yeah, it's good.
Are you in high rank yet?
I beat the game. There's one checkpoint left to hit, which is get Hunter rank 100.
Yeah.
But other than that, I played a whole ton. I got through the entire story in low rank and high rank, and then farmed all the way to Hunter rank 50 and killed Kieran's. So basically, I got back to where I was on console. And now I'm missing some of the decorations and stuff because they did a lot of farming on console that I haven't done yet on PC.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for the most part, I've got a lot of my shit. And that's basically what I was doing. I was like, all right, now that I've finished the game, I'm going to endeavor to get back all of my shit that I had before, so I can basically just say that I spent 36 hours in order to transfer my save over from PS4.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And yeah, it's good, man. Monster Hunter World, probably best Monster Hunter.
So a lot of people are saying. I feel like I've been seeing that on Twitter with the PC release coming out of people saying like, hey, I think this might be the best Monster Hunter. I see a lot of people also saying that Monster Hunter World might be the most accessible one, but Generations Ultimate, the one that's coming out to Switch or whatever in a couple of weeks, is the best one. So I'm curious like how you'd feel about that. But yeah, like World was like, it was the only one I got into, so whatever that means, you know, I like it a lot. So, and I know I had like ups and downs with it, but you know, I do really like that game. So,
yeah, it's real good.
Game of the year contender, I would say.
It's really nice being able to play with friends online. You know,
yeah,
with like everyone on PC who I play games with, we can just play Monster Hunter now.
Yeah, and this is
all right. One call back to Into the Breach.
Okay.
There's one last important thing I forgot to tell you.
Sure, go for it.
After every mission, lose or fail.
Yeah.
So long as you
are still alive, I assume.
I think. So long as you don't rage quit it per se, you get to take somebody back in time with you.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
That's it.
That part was really cool. And they like so you can like start over with that person, right?
With that pilot.
That's cool. They have the knowledge of what they saw in the future, man. Yeah, I know. Is this the first time Monster Hunter has been on PC?
In North America, I think so.
For sure. Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
There was like a Xbox 360 version and PC version, but
there is a like Monster Hunter, like more MMO style Monster Hunter in Japan.
Okay.
But in North America, yes.
Like a traditional Monster Hunter. That's cool, man. I'm excited for you, Tony. I remember at the beginning of the year you weren't sure if you were going to get on PC, but I'm glad all of your PC.
Yeah, I basically just didn't play it for a long time so that I would want to do all the grinding when it came out. So. Yeah, it definitely worked. Cool. So, that was it's been a lot of fun. So I did that. I've been playing some Puzzle and Dragons.
Showed me this dumb new mobile game you've been playing.
We'll get there.
When I saw you today.
We'll get there. Okay. But yeah, I've been playing Puzzle and Dragons. I'm competing for a crown right now, which is stressful. Basically, like every once in a while in Puzzle Dragons, they'll come out with a ranking dungeon, which is a set dungeon. A lot of the times it has like a set team, but sometimes it lets you make your own team. But everybody plays the exact same dungeon, and you're scored based on a number of factors. And you try and get the highest possible score, and there are rewards based on what percentile you end up in. And if you end up in the top 6%, you get a crown, which it changes your like the little colored ball next to your name that shows what starter you got. It changes, like there's a little crown icon there instead, and it's used to you can unlock like some of your like maniac achievements by getting crowns. But anyway, it's just basically like a goal, right? To get in the top 6% of your region at this one set dungeon. So one started this week that I happened to, and this one like it didn't give you a specific team. You had to just have the right stuff. And I happened to have like pretty much the best possible stuff. Not really the best possible, but like decent stuff to do it well. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go for it. And the problem with a ranking dungeon, the way that it's scored on time remaining. So you have like 3 minutes to beat the dungeon, and your time left when you're done is converted into points. Your maximum damage. So as long as you beat a cap of damage, you get an extra 10,000 points. And most importantly, your average combos. And so a lot of getting as high, and right now I'm sitting at 6.4%. So I'm 0.4% off of getting this crown. And it basically what it means is like I have to just spam this dungeon over and over and over again, basically perfectly, and hope for good RNG on the orbs that fall from the sky, and hope that like they'll give me a bunch of extra combos that'll push my average combos up from like 13 to 16, and that will get me in the top 6%. So basically, I have to get luckier than 94% of other players. So that's what I've been doing over and over again.
Praying to the luck gods over here. RNG Jesus.
It's cool, but it's super frustrating at the same time because like
I bet.
The optimal strategy is like on floor 1 you use a board changer and match as many combos as possible. If you get a perfect board, that's 14. So you match 14 combos and hope for good skyfalls.
Mm-hmm.
So say for example, like you got really lucky on floor 1, you got like 18 combos. That's like decent luck. And then second floor, you just match what you can, hope to kill the floor. So, but since you're just matching a whole board, you probably going to get like 9 to 12 and hope you skyfall up to like 16. Floor 3, you do the same thing. So you're looking for another 16. Say, for example, you were really lucky, got like 22 combos on floor 1, 18 on floor 2, 16 on floor 3. On floor 4, the optimal strategy is to use another dual board changer and then move an orb just randomly before the skill finishes and just let the board match whatever it changed to. Because it saves time over like taking 10 seconds to match the whole board. If you use a 2-color board changer and move the orbs, chances are you're going to get like 4 to 6 combos of just a bunch of each color orb. So you just do that, and that's the floor that basically kills you because you're just moving that, and sometimes you get 4 combos, and then you're fucked because that takes your average combos from like, at that point like 15 down to like 8. So if that, assuming that you've got okay luck there, you get to the next floor, then you use a skill to kill that one, use a skill to kill the next floor. Next floor after that, she has a chance to bind your skills, which means you don't have a skill for the next floor after that, so you lose. The optimal team that I have at least only has an 80% chance to resist that. So 20% of the time on that floor, I just lose. And then after that, you use one more skill to kill the last floor and set up your board for the last floor. And then the last floor, you just combo 14 because it's a dual color board and try and hope for massive skill falls again. So anyway, yeah, my 6.4% run, I got extremely lucky on floor 1. And I got like 28 combos. And then I did decently on floors 2, 3, and floor 4 was like 9. Out of like where you just swipe a random one, and I got 9. The rest of the dungeon was pretty normal, but like I have to get luckier than that to get into the top 6%. And as we get into this, thing ends in like 2 days. Everyone's trying to do that now. So when you're up in the top 5, you're up in the top 7 or 8%, you're losing like 0.1 in your score every couple hours because more people are like getting lucky. So yeah, it's stressful.
Yeah, it sounds stressful,
but it's fun. I haven't tried to get a crown before, so it's interesting to see that happen. I don't know if I'm gonna get it because I don't have a lot of time left, but we'll see. It's a cool, different aspect to Puzzle Dragons. But other than that, Scott and I beat Arena 3, which is a super high end dungeon.
Cool, congrats,
we
boys!
Beat that in co-op, which we
Proud
hadn't done that
too.
before. Then now we got to work on Alt Arena and Arena 4, which are even harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, Puzzle Dragons is cool. It's still Puzzle Dragons. It will always be Puzzle Dragons.
It's your rock. It's your
we were
constant.
The thing, like when you like actually like talk about how like to beat a dungeon in Puzzle Dragons, it's so ridiculously complicated.
Yeah.
Compared to what it used to be years ago, when like the best skill in the game lowered a card's health by 35% flat. Now it's like there's just ridiculous skills that's like void damage absorption, remove orb blocks, remove or void color absorbs, and change the boards to all 5 colors and hearts. That's a skill now instead of reduce an enemy's health by 35%. So
back in my day, Puzzle and Dragons was just about the anime dragons. I get it.
It's still about the anime waifu dragons, but less.
Some things never change. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. I mean, they got to have the hook to get the people to spend the money so they get their perfect waifu.
Gotcha.
And then they're doing this weird thing where like there's this one farmable card that was historically really good, recently got a buff, but the theme of the card is it's like a time traveling dragon, and every time it gets a new evolution, it's younger. So like the first evolution, like she looks like she's probably 26.
Oh,
then
I know
you
where this
evolve
is
her
going.
once, and she's like 20. Then you evolve her again, she's like 16.
Okay.
And then you evolve her to this current evolution, she's like 12. So we're like, next time is she going to be an egg or what?
How lowly can you go?
Yeah, it's exactly. You're getting this most recent. This most recent one is animated now. So they've got these new evolutions that are coming out where the cards are animated. So that's the new hotness.
Of course.
But yeah, Puzzle Dragons is cool. I really like the co-op stuff. And you feel like, at least when you get to the point where Scott and I are at, Scott's farther along and has a more developed box than me. But like, you actually, like, when you get something good, it actually like makes a tangible difference. And you're like, oh, I can use this with XXX and other thing that I had sitting in my box for forever because it wasn't useful until I got this thing. And so then you get a new thing and you're like, look at all these things I can suddenly do. And all these, I accidentally spent 300,000 monster points on a Ragnarok dragon. Which is like this ridiculously difficult to evolve dragon, which has like 300 parts to it.
How adorable
it's not 300.
is the dragon, though?
It's not adorable. It's pretty cool looking. That's the thing. Like, Puzzle and Dragons is either waifu as shit or fucking badass.
Of course.
So it basically, like, if it's a dragon, it looks cool. If not, it's some kind of waifu or like mythological figure. But that's Puzzle Dragons. And then, so 2 days ago, North America, I think it's on iOS, came out on the app. The localized version of an extremely popular gacha game for mobile in Japan called Azure Lane. And people like this game. And it's a battleship girl bullet hell gacha game where you make random ships, but the ships are anime girls that have guns. And then you put them in a squad and you send them out to go on missions, and they fly around on the water and they shoot bullets at enemies, and the enemies are shooting tons of bullets at you. You got to move your ships around to avoid the bullets while you shoot bullets at the enemies and kill them in order to progress. And people like this game because I don't know, I think the bullet hell thing is kind of fun, but it's like the one gacha game that doesn't force you to spend money, and like cards, like, you can get a common that is very useful. And then, or there's some like just 2-star rare cards that are much stronger than the 5-star SSR super rare cards. But and then like I was talking about this earlier, in most, like, say in Puzzle Dragons, then like when the new chase cards come out during a Godfest where their rates are increased, it's like 1.7% at most to get one of these cards. And there's a flat rate in this game of 7% each time you pull a new card to get the super rare one. So it's just more generous with getting all the cards, and it's more like, and a lot of the good cards are farmable. You don't even have to spend the currency that you could buy, but the game gives you a ton of to make them. So it's interesting. Like, it's more about collecting all the battleship ladies than spending a ton of money to chase your white whale battleship.
Shout out
lady.
to the battleship ladies.
Yeah. So that one's cool. I think that it's a good gacha game for people who don't want to to have to spend money, and you don't have to re-roll. It's actually like, it doesn't make sense to re-roll in this game because you're going to get everything eventually anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's neat. I've been waiting for it to get. I made a Japanese App Store account like last year, so I could download this game. And I tried to play in Japanese, but like I just got tired of having to look up the moon runes every time I got something new.
Yeah.
So having it get a localized version for it's cool. It's convenient, and it looks like it'll be like a fun pastime while I'm just chilling and have no stam and Puzzle Dragons.
I understand. I empathize, not with the stamina thing, but not understanding the Japanese.
You empathize with the battleship ladies. I get it.
Always empathize with the battleship ladies. Cool. Is that all you've been playing?
I think.
Cool. It's a good chunk.
I could tell you about what I've been watching.
Is it anything good?
Yeah.
I feel like we're a late show, so we're gonna have to save it, I think.
Okay.
But I do want to hear about it. We will put a pin in that for next week. Nabishin, Video games. What you got?
Pretty much the same as last week.
Okay.
Nothing too new. More Overcooked 2. 3-star every level, and we won't move on till you go to the next level till we 3-star it. So right now we're on World 5, which I think is the last world. And yeah, just going through that. Still having a really great time with it. Super fun now.
Good. I'm a fan of Overcooked 2. I've never played Overcooked a day in my life, but I want to. I feel like I would like it.
You could play it during next night, probably.
It's on
That'd
the
be
docket.
Ideal.
So I would like to play it during Extra Life. We will try.
It
I have a question for one of your games. I don't know which one you want to go to next.
is up to you.
Final Fantasy VII. You know I love that weekly update.
Sure.
Where are you at in Final Fantasy VII now?
Just lost in the world. It's hard to find out where I need to go to next.
Okay.
It's literally just opened up, so it's like go to where you need to go. They suggested me go to a town. I went to the town.
Calm, that town.
Yeah.
Do you like this town Calm spelled with a K?
Yes.
How did that feel when you left Midgard for the first time?
I didn't really feel much of anything. Because to be completely honest with you, I didn't even know you left Midgard to begin with at all.
Yeah.
I thought it was Midgard the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing that you're leaving now, I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess the story is done here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if you can go back to it. I have no idea. Probably. More than likely. But yeah.
Because that's like so when we talk about the JRPG hump, the prologue to Final Fantasy VII in a lot of ways is Midgar, because you leave and then you're like in the world. It's like, oh my god, look at this whole world. Like that was like a big moment for me as a kid. It's one of the reasons I love world maps in JRPGs, because that moment where you leave and you're like, oh my god, my perspective on the world was so small. And now it's so big. So it's exciting for me. But you went to Calm. And you got to hear Cloud's story in Calm. I only know this because you texted me about it.
Yeah. Just context stuff of just because of some stuff I know through Crisis Core and like going through that game, and just hearing how Cloud's side of the story was with it. Like a lot of things didn't add up, so it was just like, and it's just like, it's me trying to figure it out myself, because there's supposed to be someone else there, but it's not him, and Cloud is projecting himself to there, and it's like, it's just weird right now. Just me trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that entire story. That entire story was interesting. I liked how OP Sephiroth was.
Yeah,
that's the first time I actually seen him in the game and actually seen him in action. And I'm like, oh, okay, he's really OP. So that's really cool.
Yeah. I like how they introduce him too, because like that's the first time you ever get to see Sephiroth, and he's like a party member.
Yeah,
it's
didn't
cool.
expect that at all.
Yeah. It's a neat trick.
Mm-hmm. And then like immediately after that, they said to go south. I went south. Bought that snake thing like 5 times. Lost like almost every time. Not really lost, because I feel like I beat him, but he keeps knocking one of my party members out of the in the match. So I can't actually finish the fight, because then he'll do his like big miss thing and he kills the other 2. So like, yeah. So it's just like I'm one party member there, so I have to leave after that.
Yeah.
Called Chocobo.
Hell yeah. You got to hear that Chocobo music.
Yeah. And then like finally got past that thing, and then I found some other place where I guess they're starting a war or something like that, and they want me to give them money for the war.
Yeah, that's a part you do not need to do right then and there.
Yeah, so pretty much I'm lost. So like I guess they mentioned like Sephiroth was like in the northern area, so I guess I have to like just just keep running around the corner until I find him eventually. Because like I thought he was by like they say he's up north, but then there's a river there, and I can't get past the river, so it's like I guess he's just more farther or something. I don't know.
It's good. You're at the exact spot that I wanted you to be, because I meant to text you and say like, hey, before you get to Juneau, which is going to be the next town you go to, you need to find Yuffie, because that's where you're at. There is like in that field area that you're in, so you got through the cave and all that. In that field area, there is like an area of trees that you need to do random battles in until you find Yuffie. And that's how you find Yuffie.
Oh, weird. I thought it would be more of a story-based type of thing. But
no, it's totally... So it is like kind of tied in to the story of like why she's there. You kind of find out later. But that's how you kind of stumble upon her. So maybe I might be able to like find a picture of like what that forest looks like.
I think I've seen it. I just didn't know where.
Yeah, it's like it's in that area. But like as far as like where to go next, if you follow the shoreline, you'll see like a big little metal like parallelogram looking thing.
Okay.
And it has like a big cannon sticking out of it. That's Juneau. That's the next town you go to.
All right.
Because if I remember correctly, they believe Sephiroth is headed across the water. I don't remember how they figured that out, but that's where you want to go to next. And yeah, you don't have to worry about the place, the little tower with the big egg on it. You can just ignore that for now. You'll come back to there later. So, yeah.
That's Final Fantasy VII.
I love the updates, man. I live for this. I'm actively invested. So, oh man,
2 more weeks. Ugh.
You'll probably not finish it because you've got a lot left. But
yeah, I'm past disc 1, am I?
No, yeah. So disc 1.
I thought you said disc 1 was like after I leave Midgar, but I don't know how far. Wow.
It's pretty. So disc 1 is kind of like the turning point of the game. And then disc 2, basically disc 3, there are 3 discs. Disc 3 is basically just the final dungeon, right?
Okay.
So for the most part, the majority of the game is those first 2 discs. And disc 1 is like the turning point. Does not take too much thinking to kind of figure out what pivotal story moment that revolves around. And then disc 2 is the beginning of it is kind of like the aftermath of that, and then like there's the actual climax of the story when you figure out like what's going on, and then the fallout and kind of dealing with that. And that's, man, like it's very cool because like in many Japanese RPGs of the era and still, like they introduce like a ton of mechanics and things that you don't even see until far later in the game. Not like materia level, not like low level combat level mechanics, but like different concepts and like different ways to finish story missions and stuff like that. And like there are things that you can fuck up and the story will play out differently depending on how you do them, stuff like that. It's very cool. But yeah, that is, I would say, I don't know, it's not, honestly not that long, like in the grand scheme of things. I would say like you're probably over a third through disc 1, but it's still a lot,
Yeah.
One other thing, we talked about mechanics a lot last week, about materia and stuff. Do you kind of get a grasp on how limit breaks work?
I just see it happen. I see the bar build up and I just use it. Like I don't really think too much about it.
Yeah, they're cool, right?
Yeah, of course they're cool.
So like there are like 4 levels of limit breaks, right? I don't know if you've gone into that like menu at all. I don't know if you've unlocked the 3rd limit break for anybody yet.
I just have the 2nd for a bunch of them. I don't have the 3rd yet.
Okay, so like they never explain it. So each level of limit break has 2 in it, except for Tifa. Tifa has the weird one that just gets longer and longer. But and I guess another character has another weird one, but that's kind of beside the point. But each limit break has 2 levels in it. You always start with the first one of each level, right? Then you unlock the 2nd one by using that first limit break a certain number of times. So like I forget, is like blade beam or sword beam or whatever is clouds, right? I think if you use that like 8 times, that's when he learns cross slash, where he'll do the multi.
You mean braver?
Braver, yes.
Okay.
So like if you do that first limit break like 6 times or whatever, he unlocks the second part of that level 1 limit break, and then you can choose either or. And then the unlock going up to the next level, so getting level 2 limit breaks is unlocked by killing a certain number of enemies with that character.
Just killing the enemy, not using them move constantly?
Just killing an enemy.
Okay.
So like, if at some point you want to like grind out limit breaks to unlock them, later on when it's like easier and you can kind of go back to areas with like just low level enemies or whatever, because it's like, you know, kill 80 enemies with Cloud and then you unlock level 2 limit break, and then it's like kill 120 enemies with Cloud, you unlock level 3. So it's like, and you have to kill with that specific character, so it gets longer and longer. And if you want to get everyone's at some point, yes or no, it's up to you, but just so you know, that's how those unlock. They never tell you that. I don't know why, but it's always the same with each one.
I'm assuming multi-enemies comes in pairs of like on average 2 to 3.
There are some areas where you'll fight 5 enemies at a time, like small guys. So what I did, that forest spot where you actually can find Yuffie, I went back late in the game. I just equipped someone with Fire 2 all and just had them cast fire on all of them and killed 5 enemies at a time, and just like clockwork went through them and unlocked all the limit breaks. So just to help you out.
Okay.
What else have you been playing?
More than Mega Man X Legacy Collection 2.
Yes.
Words.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just been playing more of X6.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're on 6, right?
Yeah. And like the more I play it, the more it's just like it just bums me out a lot more. Like I said, like the first 4 games of Mega Man X are so good, and X5 was pretty much a downer all the way through, and X6 is like it's like it has like so many like just weird things about it, which is like cool and it works, but like some things are just straight up just terrible, like this certain level design situations, because like the big innovation or thing about Mega Man X was like they had like procedurally generated levels in certain parts of it and stuff like that, and like things can change. It has levolution, not really, but like just like certain things will change about the levels through certain situations, and like some of the stuff just makes it just absolutely just terrible. It makes it so bad that it's barely even worth playing through. Like in Mega Man X6, because I never really got through much of 7, and I never played 8, but like Mega Man X6 has like the worst levels that I get out of all the Mega Man X games. Like there's one level where you're like pretty much in a trash compactor area where like the ceiling constantly comes down and comes back up to crush trash or whatever, and it's like you just have to go through an entire level just doing that. And like in previous Mega Man X games, there's just like they were like a certain section of the level, but you never really have to like try to do your platforming and like defeat enemies at the same time while I trying to go through the level doing that. And like that's the entire level is just this shit, and it makes it slow, it makes it dumb, it makes it just like oh, this is just dumb, and like it's just really really bad level design in that. And like it's not like every level is like that, but like it's like certain sections of every level just have like certain like aspects about this. This just makes it just not that great and not that good, and it's just a bummer playing through that game.
Yeah, because I remember you were looking forward to playing it, because all you had said last week is you remember it being very hard, but not necessarily bad.
Yeah, like and like just replaying it again, like after all these years, is just like no, like this actually is bad. It's like it's actually bad. Like Mega Man X5 is a bad game, and me making that realization about that, it really made me upset about that. It's like, oh man, like because I really like Mega Man X5. I played it constantly, but it's like it's just like after being away from it so long and just looking at it again and just like seeing how they designed that game, just having this random generated stuff about it, that makes that game bad. And like just the way the bosses are designed is just not great either. And X6 is not that much better either. So
what if like Mega Man X8 turns out to be like great?
I'm weirdly expecting that, which is like the weird thing. Like, because everyone knows X7 is like the worst game of all the games, and like I expect that playing through that game again. So like but like I've always looked at X8, and then I always look at it as like, because it went back to 2D. It's like a 3D 2D type of thing, but like they went back to 2D, and like they seem like they're trying to like salvage Mega Man X from what it was after X7 just like shit the bed. So like I'm curious about the game because I never even touched it. So I'm for some reason I'm thinking that could be the best game out of that collection. That'll be a very crazy thing to me. But yeah, that was something I did. And the only other thing I did was fire my PSP because I got nostalgia for Zach and
thinking about your boy.
Yeah, and just like I didn't start a Crisis Core because I don't want to like solely that of me playing Final Fantasy stuff right now. But I just fired up my PSP and just like fucked around with it a little bit. I was like, oh yeah, this was a cool thing. We're getting games on that system now because like you can't use Wi-Fi on that thing at all because modern Wi-Fi does not work on PSP.
Wow,
which is weird. That's a weird thing. So like, I had to do like a lot of I had to
plug it into your PS3 and download games that way.
Pretty much, but like it didn't register it with that either. So like I had to like re-authenticate my account somehow without. It was a weird thing. Like I had to turn off. That's what it was. I had to turn off my two-step verification to get into my account that I actually had. Like the PSP doesn't even know what the fuck that is.
Yeah.
So like, and with it not getting internet, I couldn't just like download my games off of that. So like, it was a whole process. But I eventually got my games on there. So like, yeah, that was a whole mess. But like, yeah, it was good having that little system again. I'm happy with my PSP. So, but that was pretty much everything I've been playing.
Cool. How about, do you guys want to take a quick break?
Okay.
And when we come back, it's not really much news to talk about, so we might just forego that since we did start later in the evening tonight. So then we can keep it not too late when we wrap up. But I'll talk about my games. I don't have too much, but just a couple of things I want to mention. And we had a voicemail from our good boy Silver PR, and we'll make some bets and throw it out. So we will do that. So we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back in just a little bit. And we're back. Welcome back, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Let's talk about video games some more. I played some video games. I caved. I bought Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
Hell
Did
yeah.
you say you weren't going to?
I don't know. I've been on the fence on it for a while. And I was thinking about it. I was kind of craving a platformer like that. I don't regret it. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I'm toward the end of the second world of it. It's super pretty. I was just really taken aback by how pretty it is. That Donkey Kong fur looks very good. It's good. I mean, it's longer levels, right? Like a typical level will have like 2 or 3 checkpoints in it, right? So it's pretty meaty. You know, it's a Donkey Kong Country game, but I played a very little bit of Donkey Kong Country Returns, Retro's first DKC game, and I remember liking it, but I feel like I remember it also like being like way too hard. To be fair, I would get hung up on like the challenge levels, and there are similar, like you can kind of go through the main path and it's pretty much fine. There's also like the Funky Kong mode in Tropical Freeze on the Switch, which I am not playing in Funky mode. You have to choose Funky mode or regular mode at the beginning.
Why would you ever choose anything other than funky mode?
You're right. I feel like I did fuck up by not going funky. And basically Funky Kong, he is, I think like the gist of it is he is kind of like Donkey Kong with more health and all of the abilities of your secondary character. So you can get a secondary character. It's either Diddy or Trixie, or Dixie, not Trixie. Combined Tiny and Dixie Kong in my head, or Cranky Kong, and they all have kind of different abilities. Dixie's obviously the best because she's got her little flutter hair, but like Diddy will let you kind of hover down slower, so you get a little bit more length of your jump, and Dixie will like have you hover and then you kind of go up at the end of the jump, so you get like kind of like a double jump. And then Cranky Kong will like pogo down, and when he hits the ground, you jump back up higher, so you get like a higher jump. So they're all kind of different uses for different scenarios. I believe Funky Kong basically can just essentially do all 3 of those things, like get the longer air, the scoop up jump, and like the hit down and go back up higher. He can just do all of those at any time. So. Which, playing it makes sense to have that, like, because you can essentially like take 2 hits of damage and then you lose your partner and then you can't do those secondary things. You're just Donkey Kong by himself. So I get it. I'm not playing funky mode. Maybe I'll go back and start a new funky mode playthrough.
Probably get funky.
Gotta get funky. But yeah, it's good. It's fun. Like that second world was like a really big change up. You kind of go to like this villagey area and it looks totally different. It's like way greener and it has like all these different colors that I just wasn't expecting. I hadn't seen anything outside of like the opening world, the first level area, which is pretty short. It's only like 4 levels and then a couple extra levels. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. A lot of people, I asked Twitter if I should buy it and most people said yes, but a lot of people were like, fuck Donkey Kong Country. And I'm like, maybe I'll just buy it to spite all of you people. But
they my only beef with like the modern Donkey Kong Country games, and like because I have Tropical Freeze myself, and I did buy Donkey Kong Country Returns, but it's just like it's more it's too much. It's too many collectibles.
It's a lot. Yeah,
because like I like the levels and I like playing the game, but like if I can't get everything in one run, like it annoys me. Like I have to get the Kong letters, I have to get the Donkey Kong, the banana coin, and I think I have to get something else. So that's 3 different collectibles I have to get through an entire level. And also beating the level. So like it's like 5 things you have to do. When I'm good with like a good 3, like with like 3D World, you know, it's just like just getting the stars for fun and like getting the stamp. So it's just like this super secret thing. So like, you know, it's just a little bit too much. for me personally.
I get that. I think so. I don't think there's a coin in each level in Tropical Freeze, so it's just the puzzle. They're like between
puzzle pieces. You're right.
Yeah, I think it's between 5 and 9 puzzle pieces, and not every level has puzzle pieces. Some of the challenge levels don't. They're just kind of like either the puzzle pieces or the Kong letters, Kong. So it's they find a better balance. There is like a third collectible for each level though, and I think it's the time attack. Which is like I don't ever like time attack stuff usually. It's like the one thing I didn't do when I went back and played all the Crash Bandicoot games. So it kind of brings it a little bit more along the lines of the Crash Bandicoot games, weirdly enough. I think it plays a lot better, obviously, and I think the levels are designed a lot better. But it has a similar vibe. But yeah, I don't know. It's fun. It's pretty. It feels good. It feels tight to play. A lot of the levels, like, so you get your partner character by throwing a barrel, traditional Donkey Kong history, Donkey Kong Country history. A lot of the levels have it so like the barrel cycles, so you can kind of choose which partner you want to come with you, which I think is cool. So they don't like limit. It's not like, it doesn't feel like, okay, this level was designed around Dixie, or this level was designed around Cranky or Diddy, except for like the tutorial levels for each of those characters. And I think that's cool. So if you have like a way you like to play, like I like to play with Dixie Kong, you can just choose that character pretty much anytime. And the minecart levels are surprisingly interesting. So there you go. I know minecart levels always get a lot of shit, but they're better designed than like the original Donkey Kong Country minecart levels, which are pretty bad, I think.
Do you like the original Donkey Kong games?
I do. I played them a lot with my brothers. Was a big thing. I remember liking. I don't like the original that much because it doesn't really have like a lot of checkpoints.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Donkey Kong Country 2. I liked that a lot. And the Game Boy games I actually really liked. The Donkey Kong Country Game Boy games because
Donkey Kong Land, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Because that was like predominantly Diddy was like the main character in those games. I think he was that in the first one, and then Dixie was the main character in the second one. And I always liked Diddy Kong. He's cool. So, but yeah, those were just like I feel better balanced. I think Rare made those as well.
Yeah, they did.
But yeah,
like I've only ever played the first Donkey Kong Country game, which I do. Like I really like that game.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've always heard about 2. 2 is like the all-time favorite game for a lot of people. So like I don't know what mechanically that game does better than the other games. So I don't know.
That was the first one with Dixie in it. I remember. So you had your you had your spinning hair. So I know that was a big part of it. So.
Well, that's all you need.
That's all you need, man. It really does make a difference, that hover jump. A good hover jump makes all the difference in the world. Yeah, I don't remember too much about Donkey Kong Country 2. I just remember liking it a little bit more than the first. I know Donkey Kong Country 3 is also good. I know a lot of people forget it, but it is good. So, yeah, that first one is just very hard. I like it, but it's just very hard. But yeah, I don't have too much to say about Tropical Freeze. It's very good. I know it, like, it's probably not $60, like, just because it's a couple years old and it's ported to Switch. It's just weird that it's that much, but it is good. I'm having fun with it. I beat Darksiders 2, which I talked about a lot last week. Generally, my sentiment is the same at the end of it. I feel like I've been thinking about it a lot because, like I said last week, that a lot of Darksiders 2 is just kind of boring, and that's like the biggest complaint I can lodge about it. It's like Kyle Bossman says this a lot from Easy Allies of like, if something is good, it's good. If something is bad, at least you feel strongly about it being bad. But if something is meh, it's like the worst place to be.
Yeah.
And a lot of Darksiders 2 is kind of meh. It's boring. It's dull, And I think part of that is like, so it's kind of split into 4 worlds, right? You go to these different lands. And the first one is like the longest one. And it's like, why? So many games do that. I feel like they fall into that trap where the first, they're like main dungeons, and all of I think the main dungeons where you get like an item or it circulates around an item, they're basically the final dungeons you do in each world. I think are pretty good. The third one is like because it's kind of like this weird third-person shooter section. It's super weird. No, actually, now I'm thinking about it, that's not the third main dungeon. The third one is good. They're all good. So like the first one is like this cool thing where you get essentially like a hook shot, and it's really well designed around that, and it builds on mechanics throughout that whole first world. The second one is called the City of the Dead, and it's built around this mechanic where you can kind of split yourself into 3, and you have to go and do different things, and that's cool. It's kind of like 4 swords, which is very cool. Anything that harkens to that, I think, is cool. The third one is built around the portal gun, which they bring back from Darksiders 1. And then the fourth one, they augment the portal gun, where you shoot a portal at like a stationary singular portal, and it takes you to that same room, but like 50 years in the past. So you're kind of traveling between like this dilapidated, destroyed version of a dungeon and then the well-built, like still intact version of the dungeon, which another Zelda mechanic that was used very well in Skyward Sword. It's probably one of the coolest mechanics from Skyward Sword, and it's very much on that level of like, okay, this is cool. So all the big dungeons are really cool, and if it had just been those 4 dungeons, it would be really great. It'd be a pretty tight experience. But like there's also a bunch of like mini dungeons, I think is what they call them. And in like the first world, there's like 7 mini dungeons before you get to that final real actual first dungeon, with an item in it and everything, Zelda style. And it's like 7 hours of that. And it's like, fuck, man. They took this really cool format that Darksiders 1 had of like, hey, what if we did something that's kind of like Zelda, did dungeons with items in them and stuff. And they just like drove it into the ground, like right in that first world. So it just makes the beginning of that game feel really bloated, and it makes the rest of that game less interesting because like you're so just exhausted by how many like little smaller quote unquote dungeons there are by the end of it. So
yeah, that is a very weird problem to have.
It's super weird, yeah.
Because it's the inverted Final Fantasy problem.
Yeah, right. And it just like that game would be so much better if it was so much shorter. That's my takeaway. Like
because like yeah, it's exactly the inverse of the Final Fantasy problem. In Final Fantasy games, the first 3/4 of the story, super combat, super streamlined, kind of moves too fast. They don't give you options to branch out, and then they just fucking
open it up.
Go.
Yeah,
and
that's
then,
like,
but you're almost done at that point, and that is so many different Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, including 7. Like in a lot of ways, I like how 7 does it though, where it kind of like gives you little bits of, you can kind of go off to the sides here and there, throughout different parts of that game. Kind of like where you're at now, you're at kind of like the first one of those where you like get out into the world, and then it's like, oh, I can move around. Really, it's still linear, but it feels like you've been given more freedom, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's interesting what Scott just said too, because that is Final Fantasy 15 is the inverse of that, where it's like it's so open, and then it gets so linear at the end. So it's interesting about that.
And a lot of people don't like that.
It's
but
like, come on, dude, pace your game.
Yeah, pacing
come on, pace your game.
It's hard. And yeah, pacing is, I think, what kills Darksiders 2. Because it's that first area is the biggest and the longest, and it's just full of stuff, and it's like you're exhausted by the time you leave there. The second area is almost as long. The third area is like so much shorter, and then the fourth and final area is literally just the dungeon, and then it's over, and then you fight the final boss and it's over. And and it ends very abruptly, and it feels super out of nowhere, and the final boss is fucking terrible, which is a bummer. Like it's funny because a lot of the combat in that game, because I played it a little bit differently than the first time I played it. A lot of it's pretty good. Like it evolves as you play through it, and eventually kind of plateaus. But it feels pretty fair, whereas like some of the stuff late game just feels like weirdly different and unfair and out of nowhere. And it's a bummer. And like, you know, like that last time travel mechanic that they used for the last dungeon, like they only ever use it there and they never ever use it again. Not that they would have time to revisit it, because you finish that dungeon, you beat that dungeon's boss, you walk out the dungeon, and it's like, go finish the game. And it's like, there's no final dungeon, there's no final thing. The last dungeon is like the shortest dungeon in the game. It's just super weird. Everything feels uneven.
It's like, just go backwards, please.
Yeah, like if
just like go backwards, like take the boss, put him at the front of the game.
yeah,
Then put me at the back of the game.
yeah. If they
Problem solved.
if they had flipped it, it would have been, I think, a lot better paced. But that doesn't necessarily mean it wouldn't feel bloated. So, yeah, I mean, like,
yeah, it would. I would say being bloated on the front end is generally worse than being bloated on the back end.
yeah, I typically agree with that too.
Got like a big butt.
Yeah, gotta have that bloated butt.
What happens is when you're bloated on the back end, there is a good chance that you are not too exhausted. You do some of the extra stuff when you say, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah,
And then you go and you finish it.
yeah,
When you're bloated on the front end, there's a chance you never get out of the front end.
exactly. Yeah, you get caught up in that, and then you're like, you just lose interest. And like I tweeted about this, and it's like, I've tried to play Darksiders 2 again multiple times, but I would just get bored in that opening area and just stop playing. And yeah, that's like, I feel like the worst thing you can do.
Anyone else agree with you, or is it like, no man, I like Darksiders.
No one's played Darksiders 2, so like
okay.
that's like, it's the thing is like, there are lots of really great parts about Darksiders 2. The story is fucking really good in Darksiders 2. The world that they build out and the lore that they build out is super interesting, and Death as a character is like really compelling. Like there's like a monologue he has at the end of that game that's like super emotional and poignant, because of like he gets posed a lot of questions throughout that game of like his purpose and what he wants, and he doesn't really have answers for them, and he's kind of confronted with that at the end of the game. And there's a moment where he's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I want. And it's a great moment, and you feel like he feels like he's grown so much in that journey, in like a very subtle, nuanced way. And it's like, wow, this is like really good. It's just terrible that it takes like 27 hours to get there, where like Darksiders 1 is like 8 to 10 hours, and it feels really tight. I think it feels a little long in the tooth at some points. Like there's kind of like a collectathon at the end of it, which is always, but it never feels like it overstays its welcome. If Darksiders 2 had been like maybe 10 to 12 hours, maybe just a little bit longer, if they had taken out the whole loot system, I feel like it would have been like a really great game, and it would have been as well regarded as Darksiders 1. But it just doesn't.
Now that I think about it, how instanced are those extra smaller dungeons?
It depends on the section of the game they're in. For the most part, they're pretty separate. They're pretty instanced out.
It's like, would it be a thing of, hey, I could just
cut it out of the game?
Cut it out of this.
You could. There are a lot of them that you could just totally take out of that game.
And then put it over here.
Yeah.
In a different section of the game.
Yeah. I think that's, you bring that up. It's a really good point. Like they could. It's not even just that they could just take them out of the game altogether. And I don't think the game would be any worse for it.
What do you get for doing them?
It's a lot of so in the first section you have to you have to activate this forge, and you have to go to 3 dungeons to do that. And then there are 3 other optional mini dungeons in that area that you get like items for doing. So there are 6 mini dungeons before you get to the real final dungeon. And it's just a lot, man. You can skip 3 of them, right? But like they make it feel like you have to do them to kind of finish these quests. And the ones that you do have to do, like the 3 that you have to do, are like way too long. It's just a bummer. But you know, like I said, I still like Darksiders 2. So there were like 3 extra DLC areas that they added that I had never played before. I'm playing the Definitive Edition on Xbox One. So I went and played them just because I wanted to see. I just wanted to do all of it. I just want to see all of Darksiders 2, so I know I have, and then I can roll right into Darksiders 3 and be set. And one of them is cool narratively. It does some cool stuff. One of them is pretty cool mechanically, and one of them is just like blech, totally bleh. But I saw them. I'm glad I saw like the story bits. None of them, like all of them, are like an hour long tops, so they weren't too long by any means. So, but yeah, that's Darksiders 2. I'm super excited for Darksiders 3. Like, all this being said, of like all my issues with 2, Darksiders 3 seems to be trying to find more of a middle ground and be more like Darksiders 1 format wise. It looks great. It looks super fun. I'm very excited about it. So I'm there day one to play that for sure. And it's like, it's a new studio, but it's like made predominantly up of a lot of the people that worked on 1 and 2. So I'm curious to see how they tackle this. Because it's been so long since Darksiders. Darksiders 2 came out in like 2011, I think. So it has been a long time. So yeah, it's November 27th is when that comes out. So I'm here for it. The only other thing I've been playing is Ys 8. I'd been playing it. I got it when it came to Switch in June, but I had played like 4 or 5 hours of it back then. I talked about it a little bit on the show. I just really hadn't sunk my teeth into it. And this week I did, because I was on my Switch and I was thinking about it when I was playing Donkey Kong. I was kind of going back and forth between them. And that game is like really fucking good. I'll say this, full disclosure up front, because this is important to know. I'm playing on Switch. Boy, performance-wise, rough. This is a rough running game. I've been playing a lot in TV mode. A lot in handheld mode as well, but a lot in TV mode. And it struggles to hold the 30 frames in TV mode, which is a bummer. Just so people out there, I'm having a lot of fun with it, but just so you know, like, this is available on PS4, and I know it runs at a lock 60 on that platform, so might be worth it to play there. It runs fine. It's pretty much locked 30 frames on handheld mode, but yeah, it's rough on TV mode. But yeah, so to kind of refresh folks listening, Ys 8, the idea is you're on a ship. You play Adol, who's an adventurer, quote unquote. That's his profession, and everyone makes fun of him because they're like, being an adventurer is not a job. It's kind of like medieval-esque era, fantasy shit. Ship crashes next to this like mythical deserted island because a sea monster attacks it. Because nobody sails near this island because it's said to be dangerous. And of course, you sail too close to the island, and you get attacked by a sea monster, and the ship crashes. So then you kind of form together a small group of people that have found each other, and like, we need to find everyone that was on the ship, and gather them together, and we need to work together to get off this island. So it's kind of 2 parts, right? It's going out and finding other survivors from the shipwreck, and they're spread out throughout the whole island, and also kind of going through these dungeon-like areas. What's cool is, so like the beginning of the game is kind of a loop. Like, go through a dungeon. At the midway point of the dungeon, you fight like a mini boss, and then you get like a Metroidvania style item that lets you get through the rest of that dungeon. And then at the end of the dungeon, you fight a boss, and then after that, you rescue a survivor, right? And it does that loop like 3 or 4 times. But then it starts kind of switching things up. It's like, oh no, monsters are attacking the village that we've kind of put together with all of the survivors. So then you have to set up defenses and do this kind of like tower defense mini game. That's really cool. Where you split into 2 groups, and then your party fights off monsters while all the other castaways are fighting off monsters on their end, and you can kind of support each other in a cool way. So they introduced that mechanic. I'm like, okay, this is cool. It's not just like dungeon survivor. And then they like start diverging for like these. I was expecting that to basically be the whole game, but then they start getting like into really cool story stuff. Like there's like a very Danganronpa-esque like plot line that happens after that. That's really cool. And then they're like, okay, now this place that we get supplies from is getting overrun with monsters, so now we're going to go kind of do that tower defense minigame, but we're going to go do a hunt. So now we have to like work together with your group and the other castaways to light torches and take down monster nests, and it's like this enclosed area minigame. And then they kind of open things up, and then you can kind of go here and do this and find this survivor, and you have like optional stuff that you can go do. And it opened up, and it just starts. It's been introducing like new thing after new thing after new thing, and new plot point, new storyline, over and over again, and it's really cool. And it like there's something new pretty much every hour or so, and I was like really surprised by that because I was kind of expecting to get stuck in a loop. And for reference, like Ys is like infamously like an action JRPG series, so it's like a hack and slash game. And a big part of that, it being like the setting being important, is that there's no currency. There's no money to be sold. So everything that you get, all the supplies you get are just like materials and food and things that you can then trade with the other villagers in Castaway Village, which is what you call your town that you start building. So they're like, the shopkeeper there is like, hey, if you give me 3 of these low tier materials, I'll give you like a rare material or things like that. And then you take the rare materials to the blacksmith lady, and she's like, okay, I can use this to help kind of make your weapon better. And then you take some of those other materials to like a tailor woman, and she's like, okay, I can like craft you armor from this. So I like that there's no money in the game at all. So like when you're grinding out stuff, you're not grinding for money or gil or gold or guilt. Guilt is the name of the money in Darksiders 2 also, which I think is funny. So you're just getting materials and using that and trading that like you would on a deserted island. And you kind of barter and stuff like that, and build your relationship with the other survivors who all have like their own role. It's like, oh, this person like cooks the food and they can teach you new recipes, and then you can use recipes to help heal your whole party. And then this person's like a doctor, so they can make medicine for you, so you can use them as like normal healing items and things like that. So it's really cool. It's just like such a they take that setting of like, what if everyone got stuck on a deserted island, and they run with it mechanically in a way that's like really, really interesting. And I haven't really seen in the JRPG space before. So I've been really liking it. So if any of listeners out there are a fan of like grindy JRPGs or just hack and slash JRPGs, I think it delivers on those fronts while also constantly introducing new stuff and new mechanics. It's really cool. I've been having a great time with it. But yeah, that's really all I've been playing. We're gonna forego news this week, like I said, just because not a lot's going on, which is fine. Like we had a big news week last week, Scott, did you watch that Super Smash Brothers Direct?
Not yet. I
Okay.
will.
It's worth watching. It's liquid hype, like I said. But we did get a voicemail from our favorite friends from Puerto Rico. I am choosing favorites, I know. Silver PR. We also got one Twitter question that I know Tony's going to really love. So we'll get to that after the voicemail. But first, as a reminder, real quick, as we transition into the mail sack, if you want to be a part of the show, you can send us a voicemail like Silver PR did that we're about to listen to. You can call 404-590-1337, and you can tweet your questions at IrrationalPod. Use the hashtag IPQ. And our email address is mailsack@irrationalpassions.com. You can send emails there, too. So let's listen to this voicemail. If I had the audio turned up, that would be super helpful for you guys, I think.
What up, guys? I hope you are here. I hope everybody's doing good and well. No video games to talk about, just tangents of my choosing. So without further ado, let's go straight to that. Starting with Why Did I Did This to Myself, Part 2. Oh boy, more horror movies to talk about. Okay, let's get spoopy here. I watched chapter 1 and 2 of Insidious. Oh boy. I like the premise. I like the fact that there was like a supernatural thing, that, you know, like a fight back kind of thing to the demons in this one, or the ghosts, spirits, whatever you want to call them. And you know, I haven't seen the other two latest that I think are prequels, and I pretty much would love to see like a continuation of chapter 2, you know, like forward story, you know, a backstory, because it was interesting in my opinion. I guess, you know, because he's investing too much in Conjuring these days, he wants to, you know, invest more time in Conjuring than in Insidious. But I hope he does move forward the story in Insidious. I also saw Lights Out and also Mama. Let's begin first with Lights Out. I like the fact that in the first 5 minutes, the movie just drops you with the bad guy. Like, it gives you the punch in the gut, doesn't hold his punches, and just gives you what you're dealing with straight out of the bat. Although it was a really short movie, I think like an hour and 20 minutes, but regardless, it was really, really good. I would have loved to see a sequel of it. And Mama, I think it was like a Guillermo del Toro joint. I think he executive produces one. I like the spirit, the ghost who was in the backdrop, and it was kind of, you know, it wasn't showcased straight until the end. Just pretty much like in the backdrop, being innocent with the girls and everything, but at the same time it was creepy enough. And oh boy, the ending was a little bit uncomfortable, for my opinion, for my personal taste. It was a little bit uncomfortable being a parent myself now, but I get why he did it. I guess, you know, it was meant to be an ending like that. I guess Guillermo del Toro also likes symbolism in his endings. So I guess it was par for the course, but it felt uncomfortable. I like the ending, I understand the ending, but it felt uncomfortable. And, you know, coming from movies from directors that I believe one is directing The Nun and the other one is directing the It movies, also Chapter 2. Man, I'm looking so forward for these other horror movies. I watch you looking so forward for The Nun. I haven't been looking forward for a horror movie in my life since, you know, 6 years of Marvel movies. Just saying. So, but yeah, that's pretty much about movie watching, the horror side. Let's go talk about some anime. Yeah, I watched some anime. Obviously, I've been watching My Hero Academia like almost everybody in the world. I have to say that the new intro for the series, Make My Story, I really enjoyed that intro. It has this rock tune that is really throwback for me from the 90s odds kind of style of rock, and I pretty like it. There's no way to say I enjoy that intro. And just to say, we don't deserve Sue. Sue is the heart of gold. Alex knows what I'm talking about. You know, when they moved to the dorms in that episode, when she just poured her heart out to his friends that she felt bad about stuff. Oh man, we don't deserve Sue, man.
We don't.
She's too good. And also, I've been watching Naruto Shippuden. The canon. I've been skipping the filler like a mofo. I have a guide to skip the filler because I left it like around 150 episodes back. And, you know, I'm in the thick of the Fourth Ninja War. Now pretty much like in the end game. I must say that Madara was a stupid son of a bitch. And we, in the past, we have said, fuck the Daily. Fuck Kyubey. Fuck Setsu. Setsu Black and Setsu White. Fuck them. It's just, oh, they're the worst. Just saying. But I'm in there. For those who know, I mean, I don't want to spoil if you haven't seen it. So yeah, I'm in that part when they did the whole hypnotic thing to the whole world and whatnot. So like, yeah. Whew. Well, that's a lot of anime. Maybe I'll just watch the fillers in my own accord after the fact. Because, like, I had no patience. I want to see what exactly the conclusion of the battle goes to. So, yeah, that's pretty much me. Another thing, you know, I've been catching up in some podcasts. I've been catching up with the Adventure Zone that I left it a long time ago.
Nice.
And I regretted that I left it a long time ago. Man, the Adventure Zone's so good. And this new arc, the Amnesty arc, is just so damn good and fun. Oh, man, if you haven't heard the Adventure Zone, you just give it a try. I always suggest, I know they're better from the past, but if anything, I would suggest that you go try Dust and just go straight to Amnesty. They're just damn good. The McElroys are just the best. Yeah, that's pretty much about me. Before I go, I just want to give you a quick question. Is it September 7th yet? Oh, man, I'm so looking forward for Spider-Man. Woo! Well, anyway, without further ado, have a fun one. Have a happy weekend. Civil PR, signing out.
Thank you, Silver PR. As always, it's a pleasure to hear from you. Yeah, I used the filler guide to watch Naruto. All of it. So, no shame. Skip it. You're good. Nabashin would tell you to do that. He knows. The Adventure Zone's very good. It's a D&D podcast hosted by the McElroy brothers, and it's super good. I have not actually listened to any of Amnesty. They're doing like a new arc where they're playing the game Monster of the Week, so they're not playing D&D. But I've heard it's very good. I just have been taking a break from the show after the end of their first campaign because it was very emotional for me. But yeah, I've heard good things. Anime's good. Fuck the Dai Li. If there's anything we can all agree on, fuck the Dai Li. Nabashin, are you watching any My Hero Academia yet? I'll take that as a no. Damn. Cold. Ice cold.
So cold.
Cool. Thank you for calling in, Silver PR. Appreciate you, as always. Let's watch real quick. This this one question that we did have. I want to know your answer, Tony. We got this from it's a Twitter question from MC Wright at Shibs42 on Twitter. He said, "What's everyone's favorite single thing from the Kingdom Hearts series?"
The gummy ships.
It's your favorite thing?
Yeah, the best possible thing in fucking stupid shit. I don't remember enough about it.
Anime hair.
I like the part at the beginning where you eat a Palpu fruit. That's all right.
That's all right.
I can get behind that fantasy.
Would you share a Palpu fruit with me, Tony?
With you, probably not.
Damn. Fuck. Ice cold.
Yeah. Gotta maintain the cold exterior.
I appreciate it now. Commit to the bit.
Yeah.
Silver, I appreciate your love of horror movies. I just will never like horror movies as much as you do. Apologies.
And that's okay.
Let's end the show. A couple of things to remind y'all before we kind of close it out. You can follow the show on Twitter at IrrationalPod. It's where you follow Irrational Passions. George Cruz put out all of the announcements and videos that we went over throughout the episode. So at the beginning of the episode, so you can go see those there. And Irrational Passions on Instagram as well. There's a bunch of cool stuff up there. George does a lot of work for that, so I would appreciate it if you checked it out. Some other stuff, rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher and Google Play. And now Spotify. I don't know if Spotify does ratings and reviews, but you can go listen to us on Spotify, which is cool. Check out Input and Get Acquainted, the other two shows, and Irrational Passions Presents as well. And go to irrationalpassions.com for everything else. A lot of cool stuff there. But we've reached the end of the show, which just means one thing. It's time for bets. Bets. I like that. Now, I mean, here's the thing. I can ask you guys if you want to double down on NATO, but I'll read you guys the bet first. How about that? This week's bet. So next week, Shenmue and Shenmue 2.
1 second.
Oh.
I wasn't here for double down on NATO.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
not doing it.
So here's how it works, Scott. Just to explain the mechanic to you.
We didn't do it last time?
Tony
No,
did not do it last time.
I said no.
He opted out.
Oh, okay.
You were there the first time. It's the same idea, though.
No, I mean, like, I wasn't there for the result.
Oh, NATO was wrong, unfortunately.
So I've lost faith in him.
I think you can still have faith in NATO. So let's this week's bet. Let's get into it. So next week, the Shenmue 1 and 2 HD collection comes out. So next week, this time during the show, I'm going to go open a private window, a new tab, an incognito window if you prefer. And I'm going to go on YouTube and I'm going to search Shenmue Gacha. And Tony knows. He's all about the gachapons. He knows. I'm going to click on the third video. How many likes will this video have? Just for point of reference, I did that before we started recording just to see kind of like a baseline to work off of. It was a video with about 6,000 views that had 24 likes and 1 dislike. I don't know who disliked it, but so if you guys would like, you could give up your bets and double down on NATO. If you'd like to make bets yourself, you can. As a reminder, if NATO is right, you guys get 5 points. What would you guys like to do?
Scott can pick this time.
Scott.
I feel like we should go for it this time.
All right. I will follow up with NATO Johnston then and find out what your bet is.
Wait, by go for it, do you mean are we doing it or are we not doing it?
We're doubling down.
Okay.
Double down on NATO. Cool. Then we will find out what NATO's bet is and if you guys were right next week. I like the stakes, the mystery involved. I'm going to bet, in that case, how many likes? I'm going to bet, it really could go any which way. I'm going to bet 172. I think Nabishin might have passed out, if I'm being honest.
Sounds right.
Yeah, probably.
So we'll follow up with Nabishin in a little bit. On to
Sleepy boy.
Sleepy Boy. We kept him up late. Last week's bet, The Walking Dead, the final season, episode 1, releases on August 14th. The first episode came out. Apparently people liked it, too, which is
Bizarre.
It's bizarre, yeah. I heard mixed things about the third season, but big thing for this new season, Telltale's got a totally new engine. And it plays differently. It's not like the normal Telltale style game. It plays behind the back, third person, full video game. It's pretty crazy. So the bet was on the IGN review. How many times will we see the word zombie? I bet 1, Option bet 3, Tony bet 2. Let's see. God, I can't Google worth shit, guys. Walking Dead review. Final season. Do they have a review up? Maybe they're not reviewing it episode by episode.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. All right. Well, we will work off the next best review. Where's Metacritic? That's the website that I like. That's the one that she don't like. I should have probably prepared this beforehand, but I thought about it too. I just didn't think about it hard enough, I guess.
Uh-huh.
The Walking Dead. Let's see, Telltale. I'm honestly, because George Cruz Alvarez, cynic extraordinaire, did also play it, and he said it's actually good. Yeah, man.
Can we trust him though?
Here's my thing. I don't know. No, we can. I just feel like he is usually more critical of things, so hearing him be optimistic about it, or at least saying that it's good, I believe was his direct quote, makes me feel better about it. I just don't know. I like season 2 really messed it up for me. The final season. There might be 0 reviews of this first episode. I would wonder why no one would want to review the first episode, but maybe it's actually bad.
That would make sense.
Okay, here we go. Let's go off of this one. Read full review. How many times will the word zombie be used? Once. GameSpot, which is the second biggest video game website in the
What
world.
about zombies?
Zombies is how it's used.
So 0.
Well, yeah, I guess technically zombie was used 0 times. Let's see. How many times will we see? Yeah, zombie, not zombies. It says the sentence is, she was one of the depressingly few children left and now forced to grow up in a hostile world of zombies, desperate survivors, treacherous backcountry, death trap cities, and above all, rampant, indiscriminate, ignoble death.
Ignoble death.
Damn. So technically 0, which puts my guess of 1 at the closest.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Nicely done.
Brings Team Nanashi up to 42 points. Team Ligma. I don't know if you guys still want to stick with
yeah,
that.
I forgot about that.
Still rock hard. 29 points. Cool. Which means I've earned the right and responsibility of the final word. I'm trying to think. Nothing to really disagree with. Here's what I want to reiterate, though, here at the end of the show. Go check out all the stuff that all the IP team has been working on. I feel like I said something different last week. It was like 3 weeks ago that I said, like, hey, check out this stuff. But yeah, especially Video Game Book Club. We've been planning that since February. And it finally kind of came together, and I'm really excited about it. So go check out Video Game Book Club on YouTube and give it a listen for me. That's the only thing I want to reiterate. We've reached the end of the show, though, which means it's time to say goodbye. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thanks to everyone for supporting us, letting us do all the cool stuff that we're doing, all the new projects that we're launching. Thank you to Danny Wiesner for our opening music of Two-Player Co-op and our closing music of The World is Saved. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Nobishin, for joining me, as always. I love you guys. Big hugs all the way around. I've been your host, Alex O'Neill. Play your games. Stay rational. We will talk to you all next week.
I mean, I prefer that to the previous.
Yeah. I know.
Mm-hmm.
Are you with
Oh,
us?
no, she's here.
Are you with us again, Nobishin?
Yeah, sorry about that.
You're good. Do you have a bet for me? Do you know the bet?
No idea.
It's okay. I'm going to read it to you. I think you'll like this one. Next week, I'm going to pop open YouTube and search Shenmue Gotcha and click the third video because the Shenmue collection comes out next week. How many likes will this video have? Just for point of reference to give you a baseline to work off of. I did that before we started recording, and the video had about 6,000 views and 24 likes.
How old was it?
I think it was like 7 months old. Yeah. I'm guessing there's going to be some Shenmue Gotcha videos going up this week with the collection coming out, but I don't know.
I say 52.
52. Cool. And Scott and Tony have chosen to double down on NATO, so we'll find out what they will get next week. Titles.
You have to give me like 20 seconds.
Do you want me to start reading them?
Nope.
Okay. Nobshin, have you caught up on My Hero Academia? The anime?
Where are they even at?
I didn't watch last week's episode yet. They're in the
training with their superpowers, right? Or
they're in the provisional license exams.
Okay.
I was thinking about like waiting at this point. I'll just wait till tomorrow and watch both the new episodes back to back. They're not doing it like week in week as the sub now. They're doing it a week behind like they were.
Man,
before.
we're coming up on a big number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, guys, we're coming up on 420. I just want y'all to think about.
No, that's not what I was talking about. But you're not wrong.
Yeah. 30 weeks away. Hit me with those titles, Tony.
We got. As I scroll down, I have no leg on my house. Akon Stylist. How lowly can you go? And Inverse Final Fantasy.
Did you mean I have no leg on my horse? Or I have no leg on my house?
I read it verbatim.
I know you read it verbatim. I
don't remember, honestly.
I said I have no leg on my horse, but I do kind of like I have no leg on my house. It also kind of ties into the moving Nexus thing that we talked about.
Sure.
I really like I have no leg on my house. What do you like, Tony?
I kind of dig how lowly can you go.
It's
I think it's very clever.
It's also very good.
That was a good bit.
Yeah.
From you, Alex.
Thank you.
I agree with that.
Scott, you cool with that?
Yeah.
Scott, do you want to say the episode number and I can say the title? It's episode 390 for reference.
This is the Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 390.
How lowly can you go? Pretty low, if you want to know.
Fetus.
Fetus. Yeah, how egg. I believe that was as far back as it went. Cool. That's it. You guys can stop recording now. Thanks everybody for watching. We love you all. Have a good night. Bye. Sorry we